Hello and welcome to Poker Night Live. It is the same great award-winning show with all your favorite features, but a few extra added bells and whistles. I'm Kara Scott, and tonight's expert commentary is provided by none other than our very own Dr. Tom.
Good evening, Cara.
Good evening.
How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. It's been a while since we've been behind the desk together.
It has been. I haven't done any of these bells and whistles. I'm looking forward to them.
So am I. It's my first show with the bells and whistles too.
Good.
Yeah, lots of things out there to be educated by, and I'm guessing amused as well, because there is a new feature called Beat the Presenter, and I happen to be that presenter tonight.
I must say, I'm delighted about that. I'm looking forward to it.
Are you?
What's the strategy going to be?
I'm going to keep that to myself at the moment, just, you know.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, what a treat this is going to be.
Yeah, what a treat for everyone. And it is amateur night, though, so being an amateur and a very much a beginner, I just want to make that very clear, very much a beginner. You can watch me playing in the game between 12 and 1, I believe. I'll be playing between 11 and 12, and you can watch that online as well if you want to. So that's one of our new features, anyways. And if anything, excuse me, on the show tonight, any of the new features kind of spark an interest and you want to get in touch with us here in the studio, there's a couple of ways you can get in touch with us here in the studio. The first way is you can text us on 62211. And if you have any questions or comments on my play or anything else, you can email the expert, poker@pokernightlive.co.uk. Now here is a new feature. It's called Have Your Say. If you want to get your voice on Poker Night Live on the telly, you can call 0906 200 7080 and leave a message or a question if you have one. And but make sure you do ask the permission of the bill holder, because it's about £1 a minute, I believe. But we will play that live. And just if you want to refresh yourself on all these new bells and whistles, as I've said, you can check out the website www.pokernightlive.co.uk. And there we have it. Right, so we actually have another new feature to talk about as well.
What's that?
What's in the hole?
That's the feature?
That's the feature.
What do we do?
Right, well, let's take a look. What's in the hole is about trying to educate ourselves. It's always a good thing to be able to try to figure out what your opponent has in his hole cards. And this is how we're going to do this. This is last night's question. And now at midnight last night, we put this question up. It will go till midnight tonight. We're going to show you a whole hand of poker with one set of cards covered over. And you're going to be able to see that in a minute if this is the first time you've seen it.
Fascinating.
Isn't it? And there you go. So Cook 47, we can't see what his cards are. But by watching how he plays and how other people are reacting to him, you need to try and figure out what you think he has in his hand. Is it all making sense?
Well, he's got 9 big blinds. Let's have a look. I guess he's not going to fold if it's in what's in the hole. Ooh, cheeky.
Ooh.
Ooh, third of his stack. What a giveaway.
Is it?
What a giveaway, Cara. Can only be one thing.
Yeah?
Or maybe a few others.
And there you go. So that's what you need to do, is try to figure out what it is. So now he's gone all in, and he won. And you can get your answers into that by texting hole to 62211. Don't send it in on the email, because this is strictly a text question.
It must be said that when you're trying to work out what someone's got in their cards, it's rare that you actually see the pot awarded to them and then have to guess what they've got.
Right.
So there's a slightly unusual feature of it, but, you know, still a useful practice, I'm sure.
I think so. If you want to have a bit of, I don't know, a bit of practice trying to figure out what your opponents actually have in their hole cards, we will be showing that to you, exactly that hand, at about midnight tonight. I think we're going to show you how that works out. So there you go. Right, should we take a look around the table and see what we have on for tonight?
That's what we used to do in the old days. Let's keep to that. Let's have a look at what we've got. We've got 4 tables as usual. Table 1 is a $5 tournament, $5 sit and a go. Charmingly named player there in seat 6. And moving on, table 2, the $20 sit and go, fresh and minty. Also some familiar faces there. Al Peag, one of our regular multi-table tourney final table appearers and occasional winner. Get him onto table 3 quick. Here it comes. It's 25-cent, 50-cent cash game. There it is, 25-cent, 50-cent cash game. A little diddler. Maximum sit down $50. And table 4 is none other than our famous multi-table tournament. There it is. Lovely jubbly. That's
Right,
it.
so some things stay the same, which is good.
They do.
Keep what works, the nice familiar things, look at the games, learn a bit of poker. You're here for the expert commentary.
I am, and you're here for the great sit and go play.
Yeah, I'm here for everyone's amusement, let's be honest, I think, really.
Don't put yourself down, Cara. Confidence is not, well, 90%, maybe 9% of it. So.
9%? I'm doing so well already. I feel like I'm ahead of the game.
Good. I'm looking forward to it immensely.
Me too. Me too. If anyone wants to wish me good luck, feel free to text or email them in, because I think, you know, be nice to me. This is my first live game on air, and I am a bit nervous. I'm being honest with everyone out there.
Well, my commentary, Cara, will be candid, frank, and honest. So you can rely on that.
I look forward to it. Right, should we take a look at our first game, which is a $20 tournament?
Let's.
So El Pig, huh?
El Pig, yeah,
El Pig.
he's a player, no doubt about it. I've seen him win at least one multi-table tournament. I'm fairly sure I've seen him get down to the last two of another, which is pretty impressive out of 100, 200 plus runners.
No, it certainly is. Got quite a few names there I recognise. Johan Herren has been on quite a bit lately.
He's never off.
No, I don't think he is.
I hope he's not married. His poor wife never see him.
No, well, if he was married, he may not be anymore.
No, indeed. Unless his wife is El Pig and they've got a common interest.
Maybe so. Jacali as well, another regular on the program. So this is a $20 tournament. So you can see that it's the first stages, because it's blinds are 10 and 20. Everyone is going to be feeling their way out in the early stages here.
That's right.
Now I'm going to be listening to your commentary on the early stages of this tournament to see, you know, if my own strategy is going to bear up when I'm playing.
Oh, okay. Well, you don't necessarily have to play a sit and go the way that I advise you to. Even the presenters have different views on the subject.
True.
But I would be inclined to say that Ace-Queen in the small blind, when it's been limped all the way around there, for me that's a raise, and Yo Dinners thinks so also. And he's probably decided, or he should have decided already, how he'll feel when an ace or a queen comes. Is he going to be certain he's ahead or not? That's his main concern. Now we have no ace or queen on the board. We can see Becky has limped and then called with absolute rubbish. She's picked up her up and down straight draw, and it's basically pretty invisible. There's no way Yo Dennis can see what Becky is holding, but his bet there has pretty much deprived her of any opportunity to bluff, because she can only call with her remaining 310, so he takes it down. On another day, he'll be betting into a made hand, so it worked out quite fortunately for Yo Dennis there, but he wasn't in a great situation on the flop. Jack Alley now with the fives. Blinds are at 20-40, they're at the second level. And if Jack Alley's just decided to limp in with a call there.
Well, he has position now.
He does, yeah.
And he does have the best hand so far. He's got two pair.
He does, yeah, with a pair of tens on the board there, provided no one has a 10 or a 7, which is quite likely, he's ahead, but he's chosen not to bet. That's interesting. Surely time to bet now. Maybe just a small one will push out someone holding something like ace deuce, ace 4. I put in half the pot here, maybe a little bit more. And that's exactly what he's done. He's put in 2/3 of the pot, and he's prevented his opponents hitting one of their overcards. As it was, they only shared the same overcard, the ace, so he was in pretty good shape. But on a bad day, between them they've got 3 or 4 overcards to his pair of fives, and if he lets them take a free card, that 5th river card, then there's a pretty good chance that one of them will catch it. Top pair now for El Pig. He's out of position. What's he going to do? He's going to check it. Time to bet now, though. He's pretty sure he's ahead, but there are 3 clubs on the board. Danger if another club comes in. He's done the right thing. He's given his opponent the wrong odds to draw to a club flush. Done exactly the right thing. And Becky doesn't have much of a club flush. For all she knows, L-Pig could be drawing to a higher one. Now she's decided to call. She's made the flush. But to be honest, Cara, I don't think she can bet it. Not safely.
Not with just a 9.
No, it's just too dangerous. L-Pig has got a bigger flush. And if you're going to draw for flushes, and then when you make them, they're not strong enough to bet, or at least bet big, you can't really draw, not when you're getting the wrong odds. In fact, she extracted another 40 from L-Pig there, but still, she wasn't really getting the implied odds she needed to call that bet.
Okay. So
Feeling any more confident now, Cara?
Well, I am.
Not a jot.
No, I am. I haven't started taking notes down on what you're saying yet, but, you know, mental notes. So if you're going to draw to a flush, really, you want to have a much higher card that you're using to draw to, because otherwise your opponents may have something better.
That's right. If your flush is going to be made with 4 of the suit on the board and just 1 in your hand, it needs to be a pretty high one. Fine, I mean, the 9 of clubs often would be a winner, but if it's not strong enough to bet out and hope to get a call on the river, then you shouldn't be drawing in the first place, not unless you're getting very nice odds for it.
Okay, well, Becky saw the flop there with, what was it, a 10-5 offsuit. So obviously she's not playing incredibly tight.
No, indeed she's not. We saw her call that 3-5 against Yo Dennis. I think she might be first for the chop.
Well, certainly her chip stack says the same.
Ace King. Difficult hand to play.
This I'm learning, yes.
Yeah, Dennis trying to keep things simple for himself with a big raise there. And I think if he's called and he doesn't catch an ace or a king, then he'll be prepared to let it go. Well, that's a lovely flop for him because he's caught the king, and Becky's now going to do all her money because she's unfortunately also caught top pair. She can't fold this, and unless she catches a miracle 3, then it is curtains for her. 3, in fact, is absolutely no good now because 2 pair on the board, kings and 10s with an ace kicker. Becky's out.
Wow, just like that.
Just like that. Whew.
It can happen to anyone.
It can. But there's no shame in getting knocked out of a tournament.
First?
First? No, not at all. And I would say, Cara, you know, since you're going to be in the hot seat in a minute, don't worry about whether you get knocked out first or get knocked out 4th. If you get knocked out at all, you've done terribly. And you should be ashamed of yourself.
Deeply, deeply ashamed.
No, I'm joking. If you're going to get knocked out, it doesn't matter where you get knocked out. In fact, it's better to go out first because then you can go off and do something else. You hear people saying, well, I lasted longer than this famous player or this famous player. Big deal. The famous player went out because he got it all in and he was favourite and he got unlucky. You sat around, hanging around, trying to get aces, didn't catch them and just dwindled to a slow death. There's no glory in that at all. So this, not you, I'm not talking about you, Cara.
You make it sound so pleasant.
You're going to triumphantly blaze into first place, I'm sure. Not through luck, but through skill.
Right.
But this whole idea of lasting longer than someone is complete myth when it comes to tournaments.
Yeah.
And in fact, even making the money is no big deal because often the lower places of the money is really not much more than you pay to enter the tournament.
True.
So what counts is how likely you were to win the thing.
Okay.
So I would say go in there with all guns blazing. Yeah, and the experience.
I really am, as much as I sound a bit nervous, and I am, I'm really looking forward to this. I'm very excited.
Another thing I would say is don't worry about the fact that you're on air, because I'm sure you can justify your decisions, but don't be forced into playing a conservative game just because you're afraid that Dr. Tom and all the other Dr. Toms at home watching the show will say, well, you wouldn't have got knocked out if you hadn't played that. Don't worry about that. Go for it.
There's something to learn for everyone, I think, by watching me play.
There is.
Oh, yes, there is. Whether it's how to play or how not to play, right. Oh, I'm going to try and pick up as many tips as I can. I mean, over the last few months, listening to all of you go on about poker...
You haven't been listening at all, have you? It's only now that we're forcing you to play poker that you're actually listening to what we say.
That's not true. It's not true. It's just the fear has driven it all out of my head. I've listened and I've learned and I've grown.
You look like you're shrinking.
Yeah, I know. I feel like I'm going to shrink right under the table.
You're going to be fine.
Absolutely.
Ace King again. And it's a hand that's you're going to see plenty of times in a tournament. 16 ways to get dealt Ace King, so you're going to see it much more often than any pair. You're going to see it more often than aces and kings combined.
Yeah, but like you say, it's a difficult hand to play because you can put money in with a raise, and then you see the flop. If you haven't connected, then you've lost that money.
Yeah, my hot tip for Ace King is you want to either get all your stack in with it, or you want to get a small amount in. But don't be putting in a third to a half, because then if you miss your card, then you've got to fold or push, not knowing what your opponent's got. So small amount or lots. Yeah,
it could be a very expensive hand. Right, well, we've got a pair against a pair here. 7s against 9s.
And the ace may slow down the betting. There's 600 in the pot. Yeah, it has slowed it down. They both checked. And Yodenes is going to think here, well, if Jack Halley had the ace, he's surely going to bet it from position on the turn. But I think he's possibly worried that if he bets, he'll get looked up by a 10 in Jack Halley's hand. So in the end, it's checked down and the best hand takes it. Folded around to ace 7. Well, it would be rude not to put in a steal. I'd make it 120 myself. I don't want to make it too cheap for Al Pig to call, but with 5-10 offsuit, he can fold even at that very cheap price. Ace 7 offsuit under the gun, a different kettle of fish in the muck. Exactly my sentiments. You don't have to play that many hands in the early stages of a sit and go in order to be showing a profit. You really don't. Towards the end, it's a different story. The blinds are huge. You've got to play a lot of hands, but at the start, if you play 2 or 3 hands well, rather than 7 or 8 hands indifferently, you're going to be in fine shape most of the time. Yeah, starting standard's very important. Yeah, and they can't take those away from you. If you start with a strong holding, they may be a better player than you, but basically you're starting with a better hand, so that they can't take away from you. That makes sense. Should I make a note of that? I'm just kidding. And chop chop. Yeah. Well, it's fairly cautious, this sit and go, Cara. We've only lost one player. It's the redoubtable Becky. And I think she was always probably going to be an early exit, given her starting hands. But we've got 7 players remaining in. The blind's now at third level, 40-80. And that means that these players have only got about 9 or 10 big blinds, most of them here. So someone's got to go soon. I'm sorry, folks. There it is. That's just the way the cookie crumbles. That's poker. That's poker. Who are you going to chuck out of the air balloon? I don't know. El Pig doesn't look like he's doing terribly well at the moment. He's got the smallest chip stack, although that's not always the only factor to consider. No, I imagine quite soon now he's going to be making a move for all his chips. He's only got 8 big blinds. So, well, he can watch the button go past him once, but by then the blinds will have gone up. Yeah. And he'll have a catastrophically small number of chips. So I think if we see him pick up a couple of picture cards in the next 2 positions when that button moves, I think we'll see him stick it in. Let's have a look. Well, deuces is a bit tricky. Yeah. Some will, some won't. Difficult, because if anyone else does have a pair, it's, well, obviously going to be bigger than that. And if they look you up with, say, ace queen, then of course they're ahead. So yeah, he folds, I think, wisely, especially given there are jacks there. It's going to be a big battle between jacks and ace king, though. Yodenes has already gone all in. Another good reason for Al Pig to fold, and here it is. The jacks, a small favourite. It helps that ace king is unsuited. It also helps that he has jacks rather than queens, because there's a bit more room for them to make a straight, but it's all to no avail when an ace comes down on the flop. Jack Halley doubles Yodenes up. There it is again, the classic confrontation. Clash of the Titans. Right, so Queen 3 suited. Oh, that doesn't really make a difference, does it? And he throws that away as well. So he's getting down to the point where he really does need to make a move. But yeah. My question is, everyone knows he has to make a move. So he really does need to wait till he has the best possible hand, because people aren't going to automatically assume that he's representing what he has. So I don't know. It just seems like it seems a difficult thing to play. I see what you're saying, Cara. Yeah, people know he's got to make a move so they can mentally downgrade the sort of hands he could hold. But the thing is that a lot of hands that they might have against him, which are maybe a small favourite, say they've got ace 3, ace 4, and Al Pig moves. Now, they don't know whether he's got, say, King 10,
Right.
in which case Ace 3 is a small favourite but not a big favourite,
Uh-huh.
or he's got Ace 7, in which case Ace 7 is a big favourite. So they're going to chuck away marginal sorts of hands. So as long as you
Right.
don't run into a big hand, aces, kings, queens, ace, king, probably ace, queen at this stage in the tournament, they're going to fold because they just don't want to tangle. It's a risk you've got to take. And don't forget, Cara, if you stick all your chips in the middle, you're absolutely within your rights to get lucky and outdraw him. Say he looks you up, you've got ace 10, and he looks you up with ace queen, and you catch the 10, fine, it happens all the time. You took the initiative. So part of the equity, part of the advantage of putting those chips in is the fact that when you get called, you might still get lucky.
Okay.
And no one can take that away from you. It's a very, very important part of your equity.
Okay, so go in all pre-flop.
Stick it all in pre-flop and try to take the blinds there and then when you get low.
Right, hope for the best.
Well, here he is. He's on the big blind now. Jack 8, not very good. Sort of hand he might consider nicking with from the button. But if someone attacks him, I think I'll have to let it go. But on the plus side, because he is quite low, people are going to be less inclined to attack his big blind because they think he might well defend it. Yodenez hasn't read that part of the book, and here's a difficult decision for Alpig. Very nasty, because it's tempting to call the 8. He's getting nice odds, but that quite seriously damages his bluffing possibilities, and he looks like he's decided to play this hand and ignore. Now he knows it's going to be difficult to bluff. Great call from Yodenez, terrific call. He's read what Alpig is up to. Very nice call there from Yodenez, but I don't mind Alpig's attempt to try it. He had counter position there. On the flop he had counter position, he was the first to act. Normally that's a disadvantage, but where both players have nothing, the guy who's got the first opportunity to bluff often takes the pot. Unfortunately in this case, Yodenez understood the situation exactly, and he decided just to call that down, hoping to see a bluff, and he played it very nicely.
Okay.
So Alpig now critical.
There we go, King Queen for Johan Herren. Alpig with the A7 decided to go all in. So this is the thing, you go all in pre-flop, hopefully getting rid of any marginal hands. Nobody really wants to go up against that.
Yeah, well, he's called. I mean, it's a marginal play here because you need a much stronger hand to call with here because he knows he's going to have to take this to a showdown. I understand why he did. Always caught an ace in the end there.
Lucky.
Because he's got no guarantee he's going to have any sort of stealing hand before the blinds eat him up. But I'm sure Alpig is an experienced enough player to know that he'd rather have played it for a bet than a call, but A7 is just a bit too strong to throw away. And we saw there, it's a very close thing with A7. He's only a small favourite. Yeah. So he's back in. Oh, he's going to be all right. He's a pro.
No, he knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
And there's the ace-king again, like you said. It's definitely pops up very often. Now that you mention that is not, I do recall that is very true. You do see quite a bit of it.
And that's one good reason not to get too attached to ace-queen in the early stages of a tournament, because ace-king could well be out there.
Ah, I see. Ace-queen being big chick.
Big chick.
Don't hold on to the big chick.
So funny.
I've been reading too many poker books. American ones as well at that, so I suppose I get all the American terminology.
Well, if you've been reading all these poker books, what have you got to worry about, Cara?
I know, I'm just all theoretical. I'm not as good at the actual... Anyways, right, we're going to give you a bit of a reminder of one of our new features, the What's in the Hole. So if you want to watch carefully now, we are going to show you a hand of poker. This is the same one that you've been watching since last night about midnight. And if you want to get your answers in up until midnight tonight, then you definitely can. Watch this carefully.
It's an interesting one, Cara. I mean, the relevant factors here are that he's got only about 9 big blinds. He's facing one limper from mid-position. So that colours what he thinks Mr. Zid has. He's gone in for about a third to a half of his chips, about a third of his chips. And those are the relevant factors. I've put my own interpretation on this. He may be a nutter for all we know. Maybe he's got deuce 5 or something. Well, not deuce 5 because he wouldn't have won it, deuce 4. But those are the factors that I would consider relevant to guessing what's in the hole.
What's in the hole? And how can they answer what's in the hole?
They text hole and their answer to 62211 after first getting permission from the phone user to enter the whole competition.
There we go. And what we're going to do is keep a tally of all the answers that people do send in, so you can see where you are in relation to the other viewers out there, as how good you are at deciding what's in the hole.
We need a jingle for this, really, don't we?
We do, don't we?
Yeah.
A little bit of music. Nice flashy graphics, liking that. Bit of music would be a good thing.
I'll work on it.
Would you?
Yeah, I'll play a bit of guitar.
Excellent. You have to bring it in next time.
Okay.
Cool.
I'm joking, obviously.
I'm disappointed, obviously.
I'll bring the triangle in.
Great. I'll play the triangle.
Should we get back to the tawny?
I think we should.
Okay. Look, they're still there.
They are.
8160 the blinds. I said that they had to chuck someone out of the Zeppelin, but they can't decide who it's going to be. And L Pig's doubled up. Look at him. He's huge. 1280. Massive. Woo. Who's it going to be, Cara? Who's going to be first out of the Zeppelin?
Oh, boy.
Apparently, I'm hearing from the poker sources that be, he won the multi-table tourney last night as well.
That's pretty impressive.
It's very impressive, yeah.
I wonder if he's in tonight's multi-table. I don't know. I haven't seen.
I don't know either. Yodeners takes it down with a flush, picks up the hooks.
Ah, we lost Kimothy.
Ah, okay, there you go. Tumbling to earth.
Very dramatic. Right. There we go. Ace-4 for Johan Heron against Ace-7, Jacali. Jacali's got the button, though. So he has position, but he throws it away.
Yeah.
Not a great hand, though.
Not for a call, no.
Said.
Not for a call. And there it is. Johan Heron had the worst hand, but because he bet it, he pushed the better hand out. That's poker.
That is what we like to call the bluff.
That is what we like to call the bluff. Did you learn that in the book?
I did.
Okay.
I learned that from the movies.
Jack Alley with Jack King off. And he's been called. And he pushes it through. And do you know what that's called, Cara?
What?
The bluff.
The bluff. That is what we like to call the bluff. What is commonly referred to as the bluff. Ah, yes.
I haven't seen Baggy's ace play a hand.
You know what? I was thinking that as well when you asked me who I thought would go out next. I haven't actually seen Big Shan or Baggy's ace do very much here. So
Well,
they're playing quite tight.
Yeah, where are they getting the chips from, though? They must be putting them out of their pocket.
That's not allowed.
No, it's not allowed. Let's
Certainly
watch
not.
them carefully. King Queen suited is good for all his chips there, because if he puts 480 in, he knows, we know, L Pig knows that the other 360 will be following. L Pig makes him sweat a bit.
Sweating like an L Pig.
Yeah. Ooh la la, we've got some stats here, Cara.
How exciting.
I should cocoa. Let's have a look. Pre-flop and post-flop when players falls. So this is, shows how willing they are to have a look at a flop. And this is quite an important thing to bear in mind. Although you don't have the privilege of having these stats for you when you do your own game, you should be paying attention to who's prepared to put down their hand pre-flop and who isn't. Some people routinely take a look at the flop. Those are not the people you want to be trying to steal their blinds before the flop. So here we got Big Shan. He never folds post-flop, but that's mostly because he's almost never there on the flop. Breaking news, we've got an all-in. It's L Pig. Oh, he's out. Mulled.
Wow.
What happened? Bluff gone wrong. That's what they call a bluff gone wrong.
What happens when bluffs go wrong?
You look pretty stupid.
This is true.
You look pretty stupid. Ah, well. So down to 5, which is still rather too many for the blinds at this level. I think we're going to see Another exit fairly soon. Big Shan's gone all in. And Baggy's ace, making him sweat like El Pig. So I think he's probably going to fold. Or is he? He's in the big blind. He knows Big Shan might just move here with any 2 cards, certainly with just a jack or something. But Baggies lets it go, and it's now pretty critical for Baggies because, frankly, I think if it's folded round to him, he should definitely move with this jack deuce. This is a no-brainer for me because it's just possible Yo Dennis will fold, but jack deuce suited is just slightly better than the sort of hand he's like to come up against.
Right. Well, he's not doing so well at the moment.
Yeah, and he's out.
Ouch.
He's out.
But what else could he have done, really, at that point?
Well, some players would say, well, I'll wait, because 5 players, it's just possible that 2 people will be knocked out and putting me into the money. But I don't believe that for a minute. I think when there's 5 players left in the sit and go, unless there are 2 players with very, very small stacks, then waiting just isn't in the equation. And here, although jack deuce is a pretty horrible hand, it's just possible Yo Dennis will lay down, and that's enough for me to put it in.
Yeah. So you take the risk, but
take the risk.
It's worth it sometimes.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Not a nice situation to be in, though, at all.
No. No, and now Big Shan is the smallest stack.
Yeah, he's looking to be the bubble boy, and he's in trouble here because the other 3 are going to be looking to have him knocked out rather than get tangled up with each other. Ace-10, though, that's good enough for Jack Alley to move. Yeah, he puts in a steal there. That will take it down. He'll be delighted. He's picked up a few chips. Yo Dennis can spare them while he waits for Big Shan to go. And now Jack Alley with Ace-10 again. I think he's going to have to play it, but this probably isn't part of the whole game plan because he's getting involved in pots with the big stacks. Yeah, but he's got to play it. He's left himself enough to get away from it if Yo Dennis raises. He doesn't. Johan Haran folds, and Jack Alley is really making the most of this bubble situation. Now Big Shan will stick it in and will get called by the big blind. That much is certain. 500, sir. In it goes.
Is it worth it at this point for Jack Alley to just play it out? Well, obviously it is.
To be honest, I mean, there's a lot to be said for knocking Big Shan out, or getting involved with Big Shan here anyway, because if he knocks him out, Jack Alley puts himself in the money. But King-9 suited against, as you said yourself, Cara, a hand there that's really player who's got a bet with very weak hands. He's got a good chance of being ahead, and he's certainly getting good odds from the pot.
Right.
On that occasion, no good. So he doubles up Big Shan, and they're back where they were a few minutes ago, except for Johan Haran is now the one on the back foot. Difficult decision for Big Shan, and a good fold under the circumstances. He knows there's a very good chance that he's a small favourite, but he's worried about the possibility of being a big dog, which is what he was.
Johan Haran not taking any chances there.
Nope. Yeah, that's right. He knows he's got to move. Ace-8 is good enough for him, and he's going to pick up this pot. And to be honest, Cara, it looks to me like everyone here knows what they're doing. Everyone's playing the right game. And there's more or less no skill to be had here, because they all know roughly what they should be doing. And with so few chips, there's not room for any of them to play any great poker. So we've reached a completely skillless part of the game.
Okay, so they all seem to have the same sort of game plan at this point.
Yeah.
The same kind of players.
Yeah, having said that, Yo Dennis has just mixed it up a bit there by flat calling in the small blind. And is he going to get himself a free card here, or is Johan Haran, who's a fairly aggressive player, is he going to read that check as what it means, not much, or is he going to worry about a trap? Well, there it is. Yo Dennis did buy himself a free card. Johan Haran was scared he might be walking into a trap, so he checked it, and now Yo Dennis can take this pot down. Certainly Johan Haran won't raise him there, because Yo Dennis has not got enough chips left to be bluffed off. So it's back and forth. It really is here. This game is anyone's.
Oof.
That is a real sports commentator cliche I just came out with there.
But you did it with fresh, new vigour.
I brought a new interpretation to it.
I think you did.
I love you, Cara. You're so sweet. Will you marry me?
Absolutely. Wait till my divorce comes through and I'm all yours.
Okay. I might be married by then. You know how divorces get strung.
Oh, I do.
Look.
Ooh.
While we've been making sweet love to each other, Yo Dennis has been knocked out.
Goodbye, Yo Dennis.
Ah, well.
Ah, well, such is life. And we're down to the final three.
Yeah, and Jack Ellie is a big favourite now. Not in this pot, he hasn't got cards. Ah.
Wow.
A flush for Big Shan.
Well, he needed that, and now we're down to the final two. Johan Herren, who does do very well generally, got down to the final three. And now it's heads up.
So it's a $20 sit and go, 160 in the prize pool, so it's 32 for Johan Herren, and 48 for the next player, Big Shan, if he's the one to go. He's looking okay now, unless a 10 comes. That would be a nasty card. A 4 is fine, though, gives him a full house.
Very nice. 4 is full of aces. Oh, and it's all tense. Head to head. So at this point, they're going to be basically, as soon as they get any sort of good hand, what would you be doing? Putting it all in? Playing it out? Trying to trap each other?
With blinds at 640, Cara, I'd stick it in.
Yeah.
There might be a few cases where you can play a hand better by calling, but they're going to be so rare.
Right.
They're going to be so rare. Stick it in, because you'll be taking, if you get your opponent to fold, you'll be taking 1,000 chips. That's what's in the middle. And for me here, certainly any 2 court cards is good. Any ace is good. Something like 10-9 suited is definitely good. To be honest, even 6-7 suited, I think, if there's a chance my opponent will fold, I'm going to stick it in.
Aha.
Yeah, Big Shan moves with the ace, and Jack Ellie probably would have been happy to move with the 8-9 himself, but calling with it is a different cup of tea. He's not in terrible shape here at all. He's about 45% to win this, even with his lowly 8-9. He's caught a 9, and he's got a winning hand.
Wow. Okay, so because there's always a possibility that you're playing against someone who's going all in, even without that great a hand, so you might as well have a go.
Sure. Once you've got a lot of chips in the middle, maybe if you've got a third of your stack went into the middle, certainly if more than a third of your stack went into the middle, then it's difficult to fold any hand. And look how fast it changes, because Big Shan has won that, despite the fact that Jack Ellie was about to be the reason why I started the sentence. So Big Shan now in the driving seats. 10-6. Unfortunately, there it is. He's got too much in the middle to fold. He's in the lap of the gods. I don't know why Big Shan is delaying. He's going to put in 400 to win 3,600. He's getting 8.5 to 1. Well, come on, man. Don't keep us waiting. Stop frigging around. In it goes.
Tension. Maybe he's doing that for dramatic purposes. Really.
He was doing a drum roll himself.
Yes.
And Jack Ellie wins.
And the button moves back. Like a ping pong ball, that thing.
I think Big Shan will go all in here. He knows there's just a chance Jack Ellie will fold. He's doing a drum roll for himself. Should get out more, Big Shan. Cool, look at those blinds, Governor.
They are huge.
Jack Ellie's gone all in. Big Shan does the drum roll. Starting to get on my wick a bit because I can hear it. And 3 pair for Jack Ellie. All right, I'm getting bored now. Come on, finish it off.
Back and forth and back and forth.
Again, it's good enough because there's just a chance Jack Ellie will fold. There's also a chance that Jack Ellie will call with a worse hand. So there are 2 reasons for Big Shan to put his chips in. It's been called. Jack has been clicked. This might be it now. 7 or a queen?
Nope.
Neither. That's it.
And Jack Ellie wins it.
Well done.
Yeah.
Well, that was great. I think we learnt a lot there.
You know what? I think I definitely did.
Good.
I've been
Super.
watching avidly.
Taking notes.
Well, mental notes.
Okay.
Mental notes. All
You're
mental
gonna be
notes.
fine, Curry. You're gonna be
Yes.
fine.
And anyone who's going to be playing against me is obviously now going to know that
You're
I'm a nervous player.
shaking
Yeah.
with fear.
Which doesn't help, really.
It's all an act. Inside, she's cool, calm, steely.
I'm like steel.
Mm.
I'm like steel. Right, well, we do have a few questions for
Okay.
you. This is the Ask the Expert portion of our show,
Okay.
and that happens to be you.
Okay.
Right, this is from Dave, with a long sort of name afterwards,
WYSIWYG.
1958.
Dave
WYSIWYG?
WYSIWYG. What you see is what you get.
Oh, gotcha.
That's what it
What you
stands
see is
for.
what you get. Oh, that's very clever. Thank you for that. Dave WYSIWYG, 1958. Hi, great show, watch it a lot. I've only been playing poker again for a short time, and while I do well at large multi-table tourneys, coming in at the bubble or above most times, even in ones with up to 15,000 players.
15,000 players?
Well done.
That must be a mistime. No one's ever played with 15,000. How can you play a tournament with 15,000? It must be 1,500.
It's got to be.
Yeah.
You pulling our leg. What you see is what you get. I'm not so sure about that. I'm not so sure about that. Right, we'll say 1,500 players. I seem to do really badly, though, at cash games. What, in your opinion, is the most common reason for doing well in tourneys, but badly at cash games? Any help would be great, as I would love to improve my game in all areas. Yours, Dave WYSIWYG.
The main difference, Dave WYSIWYG, between a cash game and a tournament is nothing to do with strategy. Don't believe what people tell you on that front. The main difference is the number of chips that you have relative to the blinds, because in a tournament, even one with 15,000 players, at some point fairly early on, nearly everyone is going to be reasonably short stacked for the remainder of the tournament. So once you're about 2 hours in, there until the end of it, most players are going to be fairly short stacked. In a cash game, most players are deep. They're deep in chips. They sit down with a full 100 times the big blind, and they may even have more than that after a while as chips accumulate on the table. So it seems to me probably the reason why you're a better tournament player than a cash game player is that you're better at playing with a short stack. It is a skill. It's something that you acquire with tournament experience. Likewise, in cash games, you acquire experience playing in a big stack. But probably the single determinant of poor cash game play is the failure to get away from hands, big hands that have been overtaken by something. In a tournament, by the time your aces run into something bigger on the turn, say, all the chips are in the middle and all the luck has gone out of it. But in a cash game, when your aces have been cracked or your ace-king has caught an ace but it's still been cracked on the turn, you've often still got lots of chips in front of you. So my advice for you, Dave WYSIWYG, is play a few cash games with a short stack and see how you get on. Sit down with 25 big blinds and don't reload until you get down to maybe 15 big blinds and see if you start making a profit. There's absolutely no shame in doing that, and you can double through or increase your stack and do a runner. That's the great thing about the internet. You can't hear all the rude names they're calling you because you've gone. So try that, sitting down in the cash game with a small stack.
Okay, well, that's really good advice, and a lot of people actually do email in with this exact same question, how to be better at either cash games or tournaments. So we're going to take a look now at a cash game, and all of you at home can watch avidly and listen to the commentary and learn a bit more about cash games.
Is it going to be the 51? Ah, 25.50.
Ah, starting small.
Splendido. So maximum sit down is $50. So there's a fair number of chips on this table.
Right.
And Yekoad joins us. He was sitting out till the cameras came back.
Some people like glory.
They do. They do. I just
There's a lot of
care
big
about the
cards
money.
out there. Oh, really?
Yeah, no, glory days are
mercenary.
gone. I am mercenary, yeah.
You are a mercenary or you are mercenary?
I'm a mercenary on the field of poker.
Oh,
I'm a foot soldier.
that's very exciting. I'm a sniper myself.
Are you?
Yeah.
Single bullet girl?
Oh, yeah.
Wow. Fantastic.
Yep, number one with a bullet.
Okay.
We'll see.
I think I'm looking forward to making reference to that
Oh,
aspect
no.
of your skill.
Great, great. I'm just giving you more, ammunition there.
Single bullet to the temple?
Yeah, pretty much. Oh.
Matt, top straight. Well, he's working to some sort of straight there, but it hasn't arrived yet. I'm feeling an itch for some stats, Cara.
Ooh, well, we better do something about that then. Let's
Okay.
scratch that itch. Let's have a few stats in a minute.
Matt AKQJ10 hasn't got his straight yet.
No.
So the pot and the glory is going to go to Swan Lee, just with that bare ace. Unless he folds, which I think he will. Oh wait, that's a small bet. Hang on, pot 23-25. No, he still folds. And Matt raises. Great raise. Brilliant. How does he know? Now that is a great raise. He's going to push Sibbo off it. Sibbo can't call.
Huh.
And what an amazing bluff that was. A bluff raise is a pretty spunky sort of play. And he pulled off. Oh, I forgot about the stats. Here they are. Pre-flop action. Who's raising? Who's calling? Better to be a raiser than a caller. Although you can call if there's a good reason for it. But not being quite sure how good your hand is, not a good reason to call.
Okay.
So we've got Sibbo, who's raising and calling. He's a loose old fish. And Swan Lee, who's even worse, because he's playing only slightly fewer hands, but he's calling them instead of raising them. So I prefer Sibbo's loose aggressive play to Swan Lee's loose passive play. Said in no uncertain terms. We do like a bit of stats.
We do like a bit of stats. A bit of mixing it up as well. We had some tournament action, some cash game.
Poker Night Live is getting more and more crammed full of different things, isn't it?
I know. I think there's just not enough time in the day, or the evening, as it were, to just fit everything in. And then there's all the questions as well. We've got another question for you.
Okay.
Okay,
Let's
let's go to
hear it.
this. Right, this is from Kev Steele. Kev says, hi, just writing to let you know the last 2 episodes have been very useful with the presenters playing themselves and then analysing their play afterwards. Glad that you like it. I think it's probably a very good idea, actually. It gives a whole new insight into the world of poker. Since a lot of playing sit and goes is luck because of the blinds, is there any chance one of you could play a cash game for half an hour? And the challenge is to double your money in half an hour. Well, it's not going to be me. Let's just be honest about that right now.
It's not going to be me either. If I could double my money reliably in half an hour, I wouldn't be here. I'd be at home doing it. Half an hour? Okay, carry on, Karen.
Okay. I'm really interested in how you decide which people are best to bully and when it's okay to limp in with a marginal hand, etc. I've noticed Johan has won on the cash games every time he's played, usually ending up with 3 to 5 times the maximum buy-in. If it's possible, I'd love to know how, because I really want to give up my job to play poker. Well, that's an interesting thing to say. I only want to make 50 pounds per day before I do this, but do you think it's possible to do this without taking much notice of other people's playing styles at a cash table? I usually only notice if someone is really tight or really aggressive, but I'm sure it must be possible to consistently go into a cash game with a bunch of strangers and double your buy-in within a reasonable amount of time. Thanks a lot. I think if it was that easy, then more people would be doing it. But I will defer this to you.
Yeah, I think there was a golden age of poker when people were so naive about the game that you could reliably, I mean, this is long before I came on the scene, I'm talking 10, 15 years ago, before the existence of very good educational materials out there. There was an age where people were playing poker badly, reliably, and this is something Malcolm Harwood talks about because he was there playing the first games of Texas Hold'em that were played in Britain. But those days are gone now, and people who view poker as a sport. They're not coming home from a hard day's work happy to lose money because they enjoy playing it around a kitchen table. They're playing it for the glory. So it's just not the case that you can reliably sit down and play against players who are so predictably bad that you can double your money every time. They may be bad. Who knows? If you play for a reasonable stretch of time, you may on average be doubling your money, but on any given occasion, you're going to suffer an awful lot of swings because they're playing bad in unpredictable ways. With reference to the other point about can you be a winner without paying attention to their styles, it's much harder. Again, the days are gone where you can just sit there and wait for good hands and play them aggressively. are no use anymore because people know about tight, aggressive play, and even if they're not particularly good, they can exploit your failure to notice particular styles of their play. So you are going to want to concentrate on what particularly your opponents are doing. I keep notes on what my opponents do. I play online, of course, in the notes section. I write quite specific anecdotal evidence about what they've done, because next time I'm in a pot with them, it gives me an idea of what sorts of plays they have available to them. I wouldn't give up your day job just yet. The great error most would-be professional poker players make is to confuse what they can make on a good day with what they will make overall, because when you have those days where you get wiped out, that massively reduces your average, your batting average, down to something that you might not be able to live on. So go into it very gradually, semi-professionally, taking it seriously, but always having your job as a backup, not least because you probably enjoy the poker more that way.
Yeah, very true. Now, if you are thinking about getting more involved in poker, perhaps a good way to start is by trying to intuit what your opponent's cards are. So we're going to show you another time here our new feature.
What's in the hole?
What's in the hole? Let's take a look. Right, watch carefully. Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm. What is in the hole, Cara? It's torturing me. I need to know. When do we find out?
We find out at midnight. And then we will start a new game as well. There'll be a new What's in the Hole.
Wow. So we get two
Yeah, 2 a night, really.
Good. Fantastic. And he wins. That's the crucial thing. 10, 10, 3, 5, ace. 10, 10, 3, 5, ace.
There you go. Now, if you have an idea what was in the hole, you can text your answer. Text hole and the answer to 62211. Always getting permission first, please, from the owner of the line. We are going to go to a break now. When we come back, I'm going to be playing a bit of poker. So this is something that you'll want to stay tuned for, because personally, I'm very excited, a little bit nervous. I think I'm going to spend the break just getting myself ready, mentally prepared.
I can't wait. I'm thrilled at the prospects.
Me too. We will see you back here very soon.
To celebrate PokerZone's new channel position of 843 and its move to the gaming and dating section on Sky, PokerZone are offering one lucky viewer the chance to represent them as a roving reporter at the 2006 World Series of Poker. All you need to do is come up with a poker-related Lonely Hearts advert. And to help you on your way, here's one PokerZone thought of earlier. Well-stacked gentleman seeks loose players for some all-night action. So, to be in with a chance of winning this all-expenses-paid trip to the gambling capital of the world, send your entries to lonelyhearts@pokerzone.tv. The competition closes at midnight on February the 25th, and the wittiest and most original entries will be shortlisted before an overall winner is announced during a dedicated episode of Poker Night Live from 10 p.m. on February the 28th.
Welcome back to Poker Night Live, which tonight is where Cara struts her stuff. Yes, we've changed places. You may have noticed that I am now the anchor because Cara's got more important things to do. She's going to get herself down to is it going to be $2, Cara?
It is going to be, I've decided it's going to be a $2 tournament. I think it's a good idea. So I'm just waiting for one actually to come round, and then I will be jumping in, diving in on the Spin Palace poker site and joining a tournament.
So it might be a bit quiet on the commentary front from Cara in the next 5, 10, 15 minutes. You might hear grunts of frustration or yelps of joy, or possibly even a few yeeps.
Yeah, hopefully not. I do sometimes. Oh, I've got a mouth like a trucker sometimes, so I'm going to be reining it in.
That's right, because inside you're steely and calm, remember?
That's right. That's right.
It's going to be awesome. Let's have a look at an email while Cara mentally prepares herself. G. Coyen says, "Hi there. I have come to the conclusion that online poker is more a game of luck than anything else. I started online about 2 months ago, would have been playing poker for about a year. I constantly find myself in the situation where I've got all in with a better hand and lost. In fact, the only final table I've made was when I made 3 bad all-in calls in a row. When I play well and I make the right call, I lose. When I make the wrong choice, I win. Do you find that the online game is more a game of luck than in-person poker as well? Person poker, what a lovely phrase that is. Well, yes, I suppose I do, but that's only because online poker goes to a showdown much more often than does person poker. So your opponent has an opportunity to outdraw you that he wouldn't in the real game. But to be honest, we put our faith in the idea that the online game is not rigged, so the cards come out in the same frequency as they would in a person poker game. It's all part of the immutable laws of statistics, and I think I'd have to say that if there are deviations from that, it's either short term or it's just my perception of the game. But I could be wrong, maybe it's all rigged. Time to squeeze one more in, let's have a look at it. Ross says, what happens if you show your cards or cheat?
Well, you shouldn't be cheating anyway, should you?
Well, yeah, if you cheat... I mean,
you're a bad person.
Yeah, God is watching. It doesn't matter if you get caught or not. You're a bad person.
Bad, bad, bad.
Yeah, you get taken outside and beaten up. If you show your cards, well, that's a form of cheating, but it's a rather strange one. If you show them accidentally, then expect to lose money. But if you show them deliberately, then your fellow players may start to get a bit cheesed off and take you outside and beat you up. So don't do either. A quick reminder of our new feature, What's in the Hole? What's in the hole, Cara?
Oh, I don't know. What's in the hole?
Let's have a look at it. Let's have a look at it. So in case you've just tuned in, it's your job before midnight to work out what's in Cook 47's hand. You can see all their hands. He can't see their hands. You have to deduce what's in the hole from how he plays. From how he plays. Fascinating. I've got my own ideas about this. I've got my own ideas. But of course it's difficult, isn't it, Cara? Because what would be what you'd expect from a purely statistical basis is not necessarily what the creators of tonight's What's in the Hole wanted in terms of an entertainment format.
That's true. It's difficult to say if it's going to be, the obvious choice or not.
Yeah. I mean, some Hold'em hands are more photogenic than others, is what I'm saying. Here it is, text hole and your answer to 62211 before midnight. But if you've got any other emails, encouraging emails for Cara, who's about to go into battle, that sort of stuff, then text them to that number or send your questions to poker@pokernightlive.co.uk. Have your say. Have your say on Poker Night Live. There you go. You call that number 0906 200 7080. There it is, and your poker thoughts and questions will be played out live on air and discussed by our panel of experts. God knows who they are. Right, well, the time has come. There's no point dilly-dallying any longer. Cara is going to join battle. I'm going to try and commentate on the cash game without getting sucked into the drama to my left, but it's going to be difficult. Let's go down to that cash game.
Right, I am just waiting for a $2 game to start, so I'm not procrastinating, just so that you know.
Okay.
Just waiting for one to start.
You're waiting for a date?
I am.
Down on the sit-and-go table.
Waiting for that phone call.
What's a girl going to do to get 7 dates these days?
Honestly, this is what I want to know.
Because they're terrified of you, Cara. They know about your steely calm.
Oh yes. I'll be playing under the name Great Scott. I think that's quite funny.
It is quite funny. Well, we've got a cash game here, and...
oh, the enthusiasm.
Yeah, I know, but there's a sit-and-go about to kick off. There's a cash game here with some players playing for 25, 50 blinds. Has it started yet?
It hasn't. I'm still waiting for the $2 ones to finish, I think, so that one can start.
Okay.
That's my understanding of the situation.
Just fine. I just don't want you to not play because...
I get sucked into the commentary.
Yeah.
All the drama going on to my right.
So imagine this was a sit-and-go, Cara.
Yes.
And you've got ace-9 suited. How do you feel about it?
In that position there, I'd have thrown it away. Early position? Yeah, I'd have thrown it away. Dumped. Done. Gone. See, now I'm giving away my secrets.
Well, is it true that TV's Nick Wellfall
Ooh.
has been mentoring you?
He has been. He's been very kind. He's been very kind in helping me a little bit with the whole, how to play poker thing. Because I am a bit nervous, and he knew that, so he's been bolstering my confidence just a bit, and bless him. I actually phoned him right before the show started to get a bit of advice and encouragement.
Did you cry?
No, but he did. It was
Oh.
very emotional.
He is a bit of a crybaby, Nick.
Oh. Only if you smack him, and only then if you smack him really hard.
Yeah, good. Well, there you go. Don't mess with a girl who eats mooses.
Too right, yes, but we're not getting into that one again, thank you very much. I've read the comments on the forum.
Look, a flush, Cara.
What, on me? No.
5 spades. Would you Adam and Eve it?
Well, I never.
And there's lots of kings out there. And so only one left in the deck. Has it started yet?
No, it still hasn't. I'm wondering if I maybe need to do a
Well, just-
$10 game instead.
Yeah, sit down on the $10.
I don't know if I'm allowed. Are they going to allow me to use up that much of the money?
Well, you're going to make more money for them. First prize is bigger.
This is a good way to think of it. Right.
Don't you know, Cara, the show's budget is on its last legs and they're relying on us to get them out of it. That's why you're playing this game.
Well, then why have they asked me to play?
Quick, register that seat before it goes. There, click on it, underneath the R. Go, 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 buy in. She's in! Great
I'm
Scott,
in.
1,000 chips.
Excellent.
1,000 chips.
Right, I'm in a $5 game. I've decided to up the stakes here
Okay.
with your encouraging words.
Oh my God, you've got Aunt Sally on your left. That's not good.
No? No?
No, she's good. Easbrid Enos. I tell you what, Cara, Easbrid Enos is a regular nutter.
Yes, I know.
So
I forget what that means. He's pretty nice.
it means I'm all in. And you've got Steve Balrog.
Oh my goodness.
Well,
I'm
more-
so nervous.
There's more Poker Night Live celebrities on this table than you can shake a cut card at.
I know. I'm very excited actually. Ooh, ooh.
I'm thrilled for you. Good luck.
Okay, now this is a new
Okay.
software for me, so
Okay, back to the cash game. Ace Queen suited.
I just got a marriage proposal.
Really?
Sorry, I
That's
did.
2 in 1 night.
Yeah, well, exactly. It said, "Don't marry Tom, marry me." Oh, bless.
Pair of kings. My mind is elsewhere. Pair of kings on the board. Ace Queen suited. What's she going to do? Is she going to bet out and take it off the sevens? The sevens might feel that they've got to call for one bet, thinking they're ahead, and hoping to then have it checked down to the river. Or they may feel, now that Mr. Streaky has checked, that they must take this pot now. He puts in a pot-sized bet, trying to find out where he is. Wonder what he'd do if he was raised. Still, difficult for Mr. Streaky to raise. And are you typing stuff in the chat box when you should be thinking about how you're playing?
Yeah, but they're commenting on your hair. They're quite impressed with the horns that you've got today in your hair.
Says Horny Tom even. Extraordinary.
Oh, it's very funny. I can't keep up with the poker and the chat. I'm getting sucked into the chat. You look like the hooded claw.
Okay, pocket aces, get us out of this. Okay, I've dealt with the... Thanks for tipping me off whoever typed in the chat box there. We don't have a stylist on call here. Aces, how much can they suck out of Yekode? $10 in the pot. Bets the pots. That's an interesting bet, because it's not consistent with the 10. So it might be that someone holding a smaller pocket pair would decide that that meant Went Hold'em was behind and raised. So I quite like the bet. I think it was quite deceptive there from Went Hold'em. Two players take a flop. Both miss. First to bet takes it. It's been checked very rapidly. Neither player is interested in dwelling up and pretending that they've got a hand to try and buy a free card. Playing basically honest poker. Cara's having kittens to my left.
This is really difficult.
Tricky when you can't see the other cards, isn't it? What are you going to do, Cara?
I don't know. I don't want to go out right now.
Cara's predicament will be played
What
out
do I
live.
do? What do I do?
I can't advise you, Cara. It's your shot.
Don't.
What can I do? How much in the pot? Ooh,
A
golly.
lot. Oh, I think I'm just done, aren't I? Oh,
What are you
good
going to do?
God.
What are you going to do, Cara?
I
Back on the
don't
game.
know.
We'll keep you in suspenders.
I'm not allowed to ask you, and they're saying that I should.
Yeah!
Oh, get
Great
in!
Scott, what a player! First blood.
Oh, thank God. Oh, now I do feel a bit royally flushed. Wow, that was exciting.
Fantastic. So Cara Scott lives to fight another day, and I can officially tell you that she is chip leader. She is chip leader on the table at this moment in time.
I do apologise for the sound here, but when I
What
was
have you
jumping for
done?
joy, I
Oh, I
lost
see.
my microphone. I got so excited.
Where
So
did-
bear with me there for a second. There we go.
Jacks versus Deuces back here on TV broadcast table number 3. And the Jacks prevail. You can hear the feverish typing into the chat box. Pair of kings for name exists. In mid position, time to bet to find out where you are. That's what he does, puts in about a pot-sized bet, and that will take it down.
I'm so
Okay.
pleased.
Because you played it so well?
Yes. Sorry, I'm just sitting here quietly pleased.
I'm looking forward to a blow-by-blow account of not your emotions, but your your steely calculations and feelings at each point.
Yes, I'm cool as a cucumber, aren't I? Oh.
Horny rifles? No, honey rifles. Honey rifles has got a pair of 7s, but is in danger of being bluffable offable. Let's have a look. And the deuce. Don't change nothing. Has checked down each player, thinking they might have a winning hand, it seems. Or at least Mr. Streaky not prepared to bluff it. And Cara Scott is in the small blind with, well, I can't say, but let's see how she plays it. We'll find out later. Five-three, suited, just about worth a limp, just about. It's a pretty abysmal sort of hand, 5-3. Even suited, but I'll probably play it for 25 cents, just because I'm getting 7-1 here. Because with 5-3, if you catch the 5, you don't feel particularly good about it. You're looking to make the straight or the flush draw, preferably taking a free card to catch it on the turn, and that's an awful lot of ifs. Mr. Streaky got 12 outs here. He's got the flush draw, the nut flush draw, and a straight draw, and he decides to try and buy it cheaply. Interesting bet. It's likely to get called, but if it does provoke 2 folds, it's incredibly cheap semi-bluff. And if he is called, well, he's certainly got very attractive odds. He takes it down. He'll put that down in his notebook. These 2 players can be pushed off for micro bets. On that occasion, he had definitely had a good semi-bluffing hand, but on another occasion, he might well try the same stunt with nothing at all.
So I'm trying to be very quiet over here because apparently in the chat box it says that it's incredibly obvious what I have with all my ums and oh no's and oops and ah. So
Of course,
I'm trying to just
Your
exude
tells
calm.
are being revealed.
I know.
In fact, just keep the camera trained on
It doesn't
Cara.
seem fair, actually. I can't see the rest of you and what you're doing, and you can hear every single noise I make. And furious typing noises as well, apparently. And still, with the horns, they're really liking your hair, just so you know.
The horns have gone, I can see it in the monitor. No longer am I horny Tom.
Good to know, good to know.
Good Lord. The way she plays his cards is amazing. Quite remarkable. Anyway, back here it's 2 pair. No good because there's a nut flush for Craven. Craven for that nut flush. Honey rifles, what are you going to do? There's been a limper. $2 might take it. Dare you with 10-8 offsuit. Splendidly misrepresentational if you put in the $2. Even if you get a call, you'll have misrepresented your hand very nicely. Might well get a free card to see the turn. 10-8 suited, I think I'd definitely be prompted to put in 2, but yeah, 10-8 off. Why not chuck it away? Down comes a flop. Pair of ducks for Mr. Streaky. Well, we haven't had any stats for a while, so I think after this hand we'll take a walk down Stat Avenue. And V3 in late position puts in a stone cold bluff. Wow, he had the 5, he had 4 5s as outs, but pretty much a stone cold bluff. Here they are, the stats. What's it going to be? Pre-flop action. Look at Mr. Streaky. 41% calls, 0% raises. Quite remarkable play. Absolutely passive before the flop. Having said that, if there's going to be one point where passivity, I think, could be forgiven, I think it's probably pre-flop. Because although I certainly wouldn't be too keen on flat calling something like aces or kings in a multi-way pot, generally, if you see the flop cheaply, you put yourself in a position to extract maximum advantage and leverage thereafter because you've got more chips, and most of the skill in Hold'em is played from the flop onwards. So it could be he's a brilliant player, or it could just be that he's loose passive before the flop. Back to the game. Who's coming in? Name exists. Queen Jack off. Ace 10 off. Comes in for a limp. Well, now name exists probably will come in for a limp. Yes, he does. 7-10 suited is a dog. I lost a heads-up tournament on that earlier. Wish I hadn't played it. Made my straight, and lo and behold, someone made a bigger one. That's certainly an occupational hazard from playing a hand like that. 2 pair for name exists, and a gut shot for Matt. 350 in the pot. That's a bit too expensive for Matt to call, because name exists could well have a queen or a jack. And Matt's drawing just to 4 kings. If he's behind, I think he'll let it go now. Yes, he does. Ace 9, surely worth a bit of a nick. Nope, not interested. And that's just too easy to call. Even 7-4 might call. Let's have a look. Yes, he does. V3 Ranger probably thinks he's got 2 live cards, but he's dominated by Yekode. And that might buy it very cheap. Nope. Nice bet from Yekode. Very nice bet. And there is the danger of the micro bluff. You've put in a very small attempt to take the pot with a bluff. Sometimes they'll be more likely to raise you against a small bet than they would bet if you checked. They say, well, if you had any sort of hand there, you're going to protect it with a decent raise. On the other hand, sometimes that micro bluff does work. $10-9 in a raised pot, in the bin. In the bin, Ace King, however, He's got some decisions here. It's a strong hand, but he decides that he's going to have a look at the flop. He could well be up against jacks, queens, no sense in driving it before the flop. And unfortunately, Went Hold'em has left himself open to a bluff. He'll be pleased not to see a bet now. I'm sure he would have released it if Yekkode had bet. Now this is interesting. Yekkode picks up a ton of outs. An 8 or any heart. All in all, a bet is in order, I think. Be 3 or 4. He's checked. I think he wants to see a free card. He thinks he'll get a free card, I think. Now, Went Hold'em might be about to work out that he is ahead and bet off the draw. Nice bet. Gives Yekkode, in fact, the right odds, given that his drawing cards are all live. That's the one he wanted to see, definitely. He's more interested in making a straight than a flush here, because the flush is a bit precarious with the 10 of hearts. And he's checking. I'm sure he's checking there to call, and he's going to call that. But a raise, I think, is probably not justified because it will only be called by a flush or a better straight. So he played it well. $10-8 in the bin. 7-10, definitely not worth $1. Honey Rifles agrees. Queen King under the gun. Just called. And we might have a bit of a calling fest going here. No, Went Hold'em decides to lead out. Interesting that. If Craven's got something like aces or kings, then by raising, Went Hold'em gets it exactly wrong, because he gives his aces or kings player under the gun a chance to re-raise him, whereas if he just calls, he can take it to a flop and possibly get massive implied odds against the big pair when he catches his eights. But he may perfectly reliably have decided that Craven wouldn't limp under the gun with a big pair, and therefore could be pushed out, as was the case. He did get called very loosely from behind from Matt top straight, and Went Hold'em's got the right pair here, just over Matt's, but he knows that the turn and the river are going to be a minefield, and Went Hold'em might well let this go if Matt plays it strong. Let's have a look. That might be too much for him. He knows he might face a bet again on the river. His opponent might catch on the river. He's getting nice-ish odds. Cara's in a pot. I didn't see what happened there. I was too busy looking at Cara's palpitations. She's playing a blinder over there.
Thanks.
Did you let that one go?
I did.
Okay.
I'm trying not to give away so much. It's difficult. It's very difficult. See, I don't know what to do here.
Well, careful, because I can't advise you.
I know you can't advise me. I know.
I mean, you're telling everyone you've got a pair of aces. Ooh.
Aces are so difficult to play.
They are.
I'm just being cheeky now, aren't
Let's do an email while Cara...
I?
Just keep the camera on Cara so we can see her tails. What did you do wrong?
Nothing. I'm just, nothing.
Just huffing and puffing. We've got an email here from Sweden. Patrick says, no, keep it on Cara, not on me. I've started to read some poker books, but they talk about fixed limit cash games, and I'm playing no limit cash games. What can I use from these type of books? What difference is there to think of? Yeah, that's a good question, Patrick. When I first started reading poker books, I started with the theory of poker, and at that time there was no limit to be had really in Britain. It was all pot limit, but that was significantly different from limit, which is what the theory of poker is based on. Now, I made some bad choices as a consequence of reading that book, because it was never really clearly explained to me in it that limit was radically different from pot limit, because as far as David Sklansky is concerned, he's the author of the book, poker should be limit, as far as I can tell. But the book was written at a sufficiently fundamental level that I could take away an awful lot of useful information and then apply it to pot limit and no limit games. And I think the book that you're reading, if it's worth its salt, I don't know its name, should be the same, because there's nothing fundamentally different between the two kinds of poker. It's just because of the no limit, pot limit structure, some sort of hands in limit are playable that aren't in pot limit and no limit, and so on. Things like deception, slow playing have much more use in pot limit, no limit, because it's all about winning a few big pots rather than grinding away with a small edge in lots of pots. So the short answer to your question there, Patrick, is that because I don't know the book you're talking about, I can say that there will be significant differences, but the fundamental aspects of poker will be the same. Why not have a look at a book like, let's say, Rubin and Chiafoni's Pot Limit and No Limit Poker? Because although that's not explicitly about Hold'em, it covers a range of different forms of poker, it gives you the fundamental differences between big bet poker and limit poker. And then armed with those two books, the Hold'em stuff coming from the book that you're reading and the principles of big bet poker coming from Ciafoni and Rubin, you should be able to synthesize those two into a good pot limit or no limit Hold'em game. Hope that helps. Let's go back now to Cara and see every emotion crossing her face.
They're making fun of me.
Are they?
They are.
They're making fun of me as well.
Someone is making fun of me. Moose comments, thank you very much, enough. It's our national animal, for God's sake. Have a bit of respect.
And what?
That's all I'm saying.
What an animal it is. Ask Tom how to play Ace Queen, Cara. Is that Tragic Trev?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, very funny.
Very funny.
It's easy for people to poke fun at you when you're in front of a camera, isn't it?
Yeah. God, this is really difficult.
You've raised it.
No.
Oh, sorry, you're the big blind. Oh, you folded it. Is that how you play that hand?
Stop it. Stop it, stop it, stop it.
It's fascinating. Hey, well, let's
go
back
to your thing.
Let's get back to our cash game. Top pair for Craven. Name exists, comes out firing. Whenever there's a paired board on the flop, it's like a red flag to a bull when the bull has got a pocket pair in its hand. Yeko raises it up. Craven, is he going to get away from this? Is he going to get away from it? Let's have a look. 16 bucks in the middle. Yeko's certainly going to bet for value here. How much? 8 bucks? 16 bucks maybe. 8 bucks possibly looks too much like a value bet. I'm not sure the Craven can fold, but let's have a look. It will be a good fold. If he does, he's getting nice odds from the pot, but on the other hand, he just saved himself 8 bucks. Good fold, sir. Now, since Cara's playing a sit and go, we're going to keep her company, and we're going to take ourselves through the matrix to a $50 sit and go. And it's at level 2 of the blinds. Johan Haren. Pedal. Big Shan is there. I think he won the last one, didn't he? No, he came second. Jack Alley won it. Buffy Be Good. Charwell we've certainly seen. So 1,200 chips is what they start with on the $50 sit and go. And play tends to be a lot more cautious. Well, flush draw for Buffy Be Good. 2 overcards. Looks pretty nice. But Humbas has come out betting. She's getting odds to draw. I don't know why I've assumed Buffy Be Good is a woman, but I will. And the check there on the turn seals the fate of Humbas. Because now not only is Buffy Be Good ahead, but she probably thinks she's ahead and can't be pushed off it. Interesting, that raise. I understand the logic Humbas had there, that he'd caught his mystery ace at the end, but having a look at the board, I think Humbas should have asked himself what he would be called by. His raise looks fairly strong, so someone's going to call with an ace. Perhaps he was hoping to push someone off a pot that they might be prepared, that otherwise he would be splitting. If they had a weak ace, he'd be splitting the pot. He wanted the whole lot for himself. However, it didn't work out like that. Cara Scott.
I know.
In the big blind. I wasn't admonishing you.
Were you not? It sounded like
your fruity play.
Were you? See, I don't know how to talk about it without giving away exactly what's going on. Right. The blinds have gone up, and I've now got less than 10 times the big blind. Just so that you know where I'm at. That's all I'm saying.
What does TV's Nick Wealth will say you should do in that situation?
Well, I wouldn't want to say at the moment because...
You'd be giving away his secrets?
Exactly.
Okay, I'll go back to the...
Come back to me after the game.
All right, I will. Well, we will be.
Oh, I'm all in.
Ooh. Cara Scott is all in, ladies... Oh, dear. Cara Scott is all in, ladies and gentlemen. But because it's a cliffhanger, we won't be discussing it. Back on the sit and go. Well, there's no point protecting. Otherwise, let's have a picture of Cara Scott lying in state. Here she is.
I really enjoyed that. So thank you, everyone.
You were very unlucky, Cara.
You'll have to wait and see,
no
but
shame.
I'll explain it to you when it happens. I finished 7th, but the blinds were very high. See, now I'm just going to make excuses. I'm going to stop now.
You don't need to make excuses. You
Okay.
played a blinder.
I did.
We're all going to see that.
Yeah, huh? Right.
There's no shame in going out with Jack Deuce. Not when it's suited. Everyone knows that.
Oh, boy.
Perfect with the Cowboys. Bit of a pot shaping up here. Ace-Jack suited. Well, a race from a small blind generally looks strong, and Ace-Jack can be laid down there. QP takes a view, and he's in trouble. He's going to get called. Don't know why Perfect is dwelling up. Just 3 aces out there, and only 1 card now to hit them with. And no ace. QP is being mullered. Ace-9 suited. Gonna raise it up. And he does. And QP has lost interest in playing this now. He's thrown his toys out the cot, looking for a 10. Oh, he's got a deuce. And his Ma has put his toys back in the cot. He's back in the game. Well, very soon we're going to be revealing what to know, which is what's in the hole.
Yes.
So I think it's only right that at this moment we should show you once again the mystery. The mystery of what's in the hole. Sorry, struggling to keep it clean here, doing my best. Let's have a look at it then. Honestly, at 11:45, I don't see why we... Anyway. What's in the hole, folks? What is Cook 47 holding? He's in the small blind. You must get your answers in before the break, because we use the break to sift through your wisdom. So get them in very soon. What's in the hole? Look at this. First bit of evidence. Kabam, 350. Now what? He's raised. How long does Cook think before he calls? Oh, it's been a re-raise. Look at that. Cook has been called 2 raises, and he takes it down. What was in the hole? What was in the hole? There it is. Oh, that's the number. I forgot to say. Text hole and your answer to 62211. Now have your say. Don't just stop there. Don't just stop with the hole. Tell us all about poker. Send us your messages or your questions on this number, 0906 200 7080. Calls cost £1 a minute, and they'll be played out live on air and discussed by our panel of experts.
Panel of experts now. That would be. Can you have a panel of one?
Well, on our budget, yes. Well, it's been a shame, Cara, but I think you acquitted yourself very well.
Well, I tried, and I am a beginner. It is beginner's night, and I will talk to you about what happened there at the end, because to be honest, I kind of made a mistake with what I checked on the computer screen, so...
Do you think so? Well, at least you're prepared to analyse your own play critically.
Well, I'm quite interested to see what you have to say about it, because the only way I'm going to learn is to, you know, just swallow my pride and, yeah.
It's got to hurt if you're going to learn.
It does hurt, but thanks for pointing it out.
Never mind. Cara Scott, so come back after the break and see how she got on. But we've got a... How long have we got till the break? Not very long, 15 minutes, so I guess we'll go back to the tourney. Well, now you're back from the dead, Cara.
I'm
There's no
back
point
from the dead.
mournfully looking at the
I
table that
know.
you've left behind.
It's quite sad. I should be looking at what we're doing. I can't seem to tear my eyes away.
You're trying to find out where your chips are on that table.
Yeah, I think Balrog's got them all. But then he's a very good player, and
Steve Balrog,
yeah,
that's his name.
Is
Steve.
it?
Yeah.
I've seen him play before, and he's a very good player. It's an honour to lose to Steve Balrog and Hedgehopper and the other one I can't pronounce.
QP, who's just got himself knocked out of this game. In fact, he was in seat 2.
Oh, is he? Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
He doubled through a minute ago, but I didn't see his exit. We were too busy considering the cards in the hole.
Yeah, it's an interesting feature. I like that.
The hole?
Yeah.
Have you got any thoughts about what's in the hole?
I do. Probably not very good ones. See, I'm feeling a bit bruised now.
Is your self-esteem low?
It is a bit.
It does go up and down a lot in poker.
It kind of does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's like, just the swings and roundabouts. It's exhausting. I'm absolutely drained. How sad is that? I just played, like, what, 40 minutes of poker? Half an hour of poker? And I'm drained.
It was even less, wasn't it?
No. Look at what time it is.
Okay. Well, it takes it out of a man or a woman.
Yes, it does. But as soon as I went, everyone else went as well, so it was a very difficult point of the game. Let me just see. Now I'm just making excuses again. Let's go. Let's take a look at our tournament before I embarrass myself any further.
So it's finished.
Is it? Who won? There we go.
Mr. Perfect, who's also playing on this table. We'll get around these poker players. He's got 6-4. Declines to bluff. Humbas might lead out here. I think if Mr. Perfect had a piece of that flop, he'd probably bet it. Humbas has worked that out for himself. And takes the pot down. Peter, Queen 8. Blind's now 40-80, third level of the blind. Third level of the blinds. We've got here an email from Andy.
Ah, so you know what this is all about? Is there's another sort of competition on?
Oh, is there?
There
God,
is, I
absolutely
know.
right for the...
We're chocker with all these different features.
Okay, what's this one? Is it a haiku?
Well, that may be a haiku, but the competition, I believe, is the best Lonely Hearts ad. And it has something, oh, see, all the details are on the website.
That's a great idea. So can I read this out?
Yeah, go for it.
It's from Lonesome Andy, who's crying into his beer,
Oh,
looking for a poker lover. And he says, Suicide King looking for a lonely ace or pair of hooks for some hot flushing action. Ladies, welcome to for full boat fun.
huh.
Now, would that prompt you to phone a premium rate number to hook up with Andy, the Suicide King? Would you be his
No.
lonely ace? No?
I don't know, this is the whole Suicide King thing.
It's a bit austere, isn't it?
It is. It's a little bit too Rebecca for me. It's a little bit too sort of Mandalay. Ooh.
That's right. You're not
I
going
don't
to have
know.
fun on that date, are you?
No. It's a good try, though.
Sorry, Andy, but you're just not... don't sound like you're fun from that Lonely Hearts.
It's tough. It sounds like a very lonely Hearts. I think you just had your queens cracked. That's my thought on that.
You sound like you've got no GSOH. So, sorry, but we liked the poetry. It was a nice haiku, but yeah, probably not gonna get any poker action there. Should we have a look at another email from Baggy's Ace?
Let's do that.
He says, "Hello there, great show as always. I was in the Sit and Go shown first in your programme. I broke my cherry, as that was my first TV appearance in a tournament." Yeah, I remember we were saying that he'd hardly played a hand.
Okay.
He's making it last a long time. "I was tempted to go all in," he says, "with Queen 7 before I actually did with the Jack Deuce suited. I remember it well. One thing I was happy with is that Dr. Tom agreed with the play, even though I got busted because of the big blinds. Hopefully have more appearances in the near future. All the best. Good luck in the tourney, Cara." Well, good luck in the tourney, Cara. Thanks for that, Baggy's Ace. And best of luck with future Poker Night Live appearances.
Yeah, absolutely. It can be tough playing on telly. And sometimes you do the right thing and it doesn't go very well for you. I'm talking about, obviously, Baggy's Ace there.
Yes.
Yes.
Back on the game, back on the game.
Right.
Right.
Right. What do we have here then?
Let's go Humbas, trying it on with Ace-9. Naughty devil. 3 times big blind. And Johan Haran takes the flop. Now, if Humbas doesn't have an ace, he can fold if Johan bets. But if he does have the ace, Johan will be walking into it with his mouth open. Johan decides to check to find out where he is. Now, is that going to be a stinging little bluff that will prompt a reply? Yes, Johan Haran has read this quite wrong. Humbas has played it exactly right. The only thing I don't like is, I don't think he had to spring the trap then. I think he could have let Johan Haran catch a card. He had 2 pair, top 2's a massive hand. There's no draw, there's no straight draw, there's no flush draw, there's nothing on the board. It's almost inconceivable that Johan Haran is going to catch a card on the turn. But he certainly took a big chunk of Johan Haran's stack.
Right. So we've got 40 and 80 are the blinds, so we're in the middle levels of this tournament. How big is this tournament, by the way? I missed that when I was...
It's a 50.
It's a 50, gotcha.
So $400 in the prize pool. $200 to the winner. Not bad, is it?
Not bad at all. Not bad at all. Johan Haran there, saved by the bell. Back in the game.
I should think we'll see him... Oh, not now. Now you can let it go. I was going to say sticking it all in with the 7s, but that's not a calling hand. Not unless he's in a lot of a hurry. Oh. Well, he's taken a view. He's taken a view. He knows that of all the players at the table, Humbas has probably got lower values than most other players, but I still don't like it.
No? On the button, pair
No.
7s, just still not a calling hand.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah.
Because there are more pairs above him than below.
He might just get lucky here, but it will be luck, you think?
Well, he's a small favourite. I mean, in the event, given the amount of dead money in the middle from the blinds, if he could see Humbas's cards, I don't mind the call, actually. He's not a big favourite, but there's dead money in the middle, and Sit and Goes have got plenty of luck in them. So I don't mind the call if he could see his opponent's cards, but he can't put him on 2 weak cards like that. On another day, Humbas will have pair of 9s, pair of 10s.
Dangerous move then.
Yeah. It looks like he doesn't want to hang around. He wants to get his chip stack back so he can play. He doesn't want to play with a short stack. But a bit of patience. The blinds are still, well, they've gone up now, 81-60. And he's got quite a good reputation, Johan, so he can take pots down by being the better rather than looking to gamble by sticking it all in with a call.
Right. Be the aggressor. It's a good principle then.
It's good in principle. Some people take it a bit too far. You know, they're Genghis Khans with a teaspoon, whereas they should be more like an assassin with a stiletto.
I like that, Genghis Khan with a teaspoon.
Quite a good poker name, isn't it? But I don't think you'd fit it on the screen.
No. It's a shame, though.
And written out as an abbreviation, it's Gaquat, which is
It doesn't
pleasingly
strike
rude sounding.
fear. Yeah, it doesn't strike fear into my heart, and it does sound vaguely rude. Now, Big Shan's gone all in.
He's off.
He's off. Right, Ace-10 for Mr. Perfect in late position. Taking the blinds and a little bit more.
Definitely good for a raise.
4-5 suited?
No,
Oh.
ace 10 off.
I was going to say.
And that's exactly the right size raise, 3 times the big blind, because he's got room to get away from it if he's re-raised. I love it, I love it, I love it.
Mm.
It's a bit funny having you on this side of me, Kyra.
I know, I feel all kind of off kilter now.
Well, I keep expecting to turn questions over to you and say, well, what do you think? You're our expert.
And I'm not over there.
That's right.
Ah, well, I could try, but I don't want to lead our viewers astray.
Okay. What were they saying to you in the chat box?
Oh, they were talking about your hair a lot.
I'll tell you about the hair. What happened? Well, I came straight to the studio from a game of squash, so I used the shower downstairs. So I only just stepped out of the shower. That's why.
It looks a bit windswept. I like it. Someone had said something as well. They'd played against you, I think, last week, and they wanted to say hello. But I got so caught up in the chat that you know what? I wasn't paying enough attention to the actual poker, and I think that did me in.
That is dangerous.
Yeah, and someone did call you.
A what?
I think they called you Nick.
Oh,
They said they liked Nick's
well,
hair.
they are quite similar.
And obviously the whole Gene Wilder thing came up. Some people do feel that you look like him, but I don't see it myself.
I don't either, but I'm more inclined to see it than Noddy Holder or Mick
That I
Hucknall.
don't get at all. Oh,
Okay.
goodness. Nothing, no, there's anything wrong with that. But still. The hooded claw is probably the best thing. You could use that as one of your screen names.
Mm-hmm.
The hooded claw.
So we're at the bubble here. We're at the bubble. We've only got a few minutes before the end of this part of the show. Your absolute last chance to fire off a quick reply or guess as to what's in the hole. And it's all got very tight here. Players folding. Only Johan Haren is critical now. That might be good enough for him. I think it's good enough for me. I don't like the kicker. 5 is pretty weak, but now he folds it. He's playing the strategic game here. He's looking to hopefully have someone bust out. I don't mind the fold. I think it would probably be just good enough for me if I've got 3 big blinds.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Is it reasonable to expect someone to bust out now?
Not really. That's why I'll probably stick it in with it. But yeah, it could happen. Yeah, it's touch and go, that one. I'll probably put it in myself. Don't forget, it's not just about making the money, it's about maximising your profit. And you've got to accumulate chips to win it.
Right, pair of 10s for Johan Haren. Ace 10 for Loombas, and 6-7 suited for Buffy Be Good. Right, there we go. 2 kings on the board. Pair of kings and a pair of 10s for Johan Haren. There we go. And he's picked up another pair of 8s now against Mr. Perfect's pair of kings.
Yeah, there's going to be blood on the blue blaze.
Blood on the dance floor.
And not many outs for Johan Haren. Oh, that gives him now some 9s. But no 9 arrives to save the day. He is a bubble boy. Mr. Perfect chipped up. Last hand for us before we take our break. King 10, going to push home his advantage. I think it'd be rude not to, quite right. And I think Buffy is in a fix here because he knows he could well be ahead, but he's not going to be far ahead. I think he might let this go and look to put in the steal himself, either from the small blind or if he has to let that go from the button. We won't know, unfortunately, because we've got to take a break. Don't worry, we will have changed places by the time you come back, or we come back to the wonderful game of poker. Quick reminder of the What's in the Hole competition. Your last chance, your absolute last chance, to tell us what's in the hole. And Cook 47, what is it? What has he got? Who knows?
Oh, it's so exciting.
I will say he looks pretty confident, doesn't he?
He does.
Look at this. Look at the way it goes. Jack 6 folds. Come on, fold your cards, fold your cards.
Fold your cards. We know you're going to.
And get rid of it. Only a couple of minutes to get your answer, what you think is in the hole there. Cook raises. Mank comes over the top. Mr. Zid comes over the top. No delay. Chang, Bocco.
And there we go.
And such forth.
And I think, well, yeah, I've got my idea what's in the hole.
You think you know what's in the hole. There you go, 62211.
Yeah.
Text hole and your answer in accepted poker form to 62211. In the next few minutes, absolutely the next few minutes, answers after the break.
Mm-hmm.
Well, having such fun being the anchor, but unfortunately all good things must come to an end. We're going to take a short break here on Poker Night Live, come back and find out how Cara played and what was in the hole.
Hello and welcome back to Poker Night Live. It's the second half of the show and we've switched places again, so it's all back to normal now.
The seats are warm, Cara.
Well, I kept it nice and warm for you.
I mean, it's scorching hot.
All right. I don't know what you... There's a heater over there, just so everyone knows. That's all.
Anyways. It was poker energy coming off you.
I know, just emanating from me. That was the most nerve-wracking half hour I've spent in a long time. I don't know, well, but we are going to show it to you in a bit as well, so you can feel free to comment on my poker play and tell me what you think. If you've got hints for me, and if you think that you know exactly where I went wrong, it's going to be obvious, but if you want to let me know, you can let us know in the studio here by texting or emailing and letting me know. See, I can't even get my words right, I'm so embarrassed now. Or you can have your say. If you want to get it on air, you can get your voice on air, 0906 200 7080 with a message or a question. And make sure that you do get the bill payer's permission, because that's £1 a minute. All right, now we've got our What's in the Hole answer. Are you excited?
I'm just can't wait to see what's in the hole.
Really? Did you write down what you thought it was?
I had a few thoughts about it.
But you didn't commit to one?
No, I didn't.
Okay. Okay. Well, thankfully, a couple of people have committed to it. I'm going to read out a couple of the texts that we've got. Now, the first one here...
It's either a big pair or it's a big ace. It must be one of the two.
Well, that's what I was thinking. Yeah.
And statistically, it's more likely to be a big ace, right? Because there's much more big aces.
Right.
So that would be that's what I'd say, ignoring what the producers might choose. Because like kings is a lot more photogenic, isn't it?
It is.
Than, say, ace-king or ace-queen.
Yeah. Okay. See, I went with the straight pair of aces. That's what I thought. But I haven't seen the answer yet. So, all right. Let's see what our viewers thought. Hi, Dr. Tom Cara. This person thinks it's ace-ace, like me, making a full house on the river. That's from Stealth69. And said, unlucky Cara. So thanks for the commiseration on my poor showing for my first time out.
It was a great showing, Cara. You'll be vindicated when we see this game. Don't you worry.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I'm confident.
Well, I'm looking forward to that, I have to say. And we've got another text here. It says, I'm thinking it's probably King.
Oh.
That's from Mike Fett in Peterborough. So that's a couple of ideas of what it might be, what might be in the hole. So let's see what actually is in the hole.
What's in the hole, Cara?
What's in the hole?
Ah!
Ooh. It's all very exciting.
Ace-queen. Looked like ace-queen to me.
I think it was. I think that might have been ace-queen. So I was wrong. You were right. A big ace.
Well, I was hedging my bets furiously.
Yeah.
But with an ace on the board, kings is a lot more likely than aces.
Right. Okay, so now that's what's in the hole for this one. So you need to think about how the person's playing their cards. You need to think about the kind of stack that they have. You need to think about whether they're calling, raising, re-raising. Yeah, so there you go.
I mean, the ace-queen, I mean, he'd already committed a lot of his chips, but he didn't even think twice about the call, because there was a lot of action there.
Yeah, it really was a lot of action there.
Still early stages of a multi-table, well, not early stages, but that stage in the multi-table, people do still play much more loose than they often would in the sit and go. And sit and go, after 20 minutes, people are starting to think about the prize money. But in the multi-table, they're still thinking, well, I've got to accumulate an awful lot of chips to get in the prize money. I might as well gamble now. That doesn't make sense, because there's always room to find skillful aspects to your play, as long as you've got a few chips left. But people think, well, I've got to get chips, I might as well get them now with a gamble. So they're more than happy to play with dodgy hands.
Dodgy hands, indeed.
Ace-queen, not a bad hand at all, and he had pretty much committed himself to the pot before those raises came in. But, yeah... Not too sure about that.
Okay. Well, that was what was in the hole.
Yes.
So if you got that right, then well done to you. You've obviously got a bit of poker intuition working there. And stay tuned, because there will be another one, and it will run the same as this one did. It'll run all the way till halfway through tomorrow night's show as well. But at the moment, we're going to go right back to our $50 tournament, because we want to see what's going on there.
Okie dokie. Do we get to see you afterwards?
I suppose.
Okay.
I suppose. Right, so here we go. We are three-handed. The blinds are 160, 320. Buffy Be Good has the smallest stack, and Mr. Perfect is just zooming along there with 6,000 chips. Now we are all in the money at this point. Jack Queen for Mr. Perfect, and a pair of 8s for Buffy Be Good. Now, I hesitate to say anything about poker, considering my showing, but...
Oh, Cara, you played brilliantly. Don't be results-oriented.
Okay, all right. See, this is the thing about it with me. I'm just so competitive. I find it very difficult to let it go.
Okay.
So I'm going to let it go. All in, Buffy Be Good with a pair of 8s there. But unfortunately, Mr. Perfect has just caught the jack on the flop. Well, unfortunately for Buffy. Unfortunately for Mr. Perfect. So at this point in the tournament, when you've got down to 2 people, or your heads up, or when you are at 3 people, you can be playing cards or starting hands that are less worthy than you would be at the beginning of a tournament when you're playing 8-handed.
Yeah, because there's only 2 of you. But in this particular situation, they've actually still got a relatively large number of chips relative to the blinds. So Humbas, who's a low man, is still sitting there with 5 or 6 big blinds. So he doesn't have to be a maniac. As I've said earlier, if there's any chance, normally if there's any chance your opponent will fold in this heads-up part of the game, you should bet, but that's not the case when you've got quite a large number of chips relative to the blinds. Anyway, Mr. Perfect's taken it down. Well done. Well done.
It's always good to see a winner.
That's the thing about poker, is you're always guaranteed a winner, except for when the pot is split.
This is true.
Or the tournament's cancelled.
Well, then nobody wins, do they? But I believe we might just have a new What's in the Hole.
A new What's in the Hole?
We might just. Are you excited? Because I am.
I am. I love all these new bells and whistles. It's fantastic.
Fantastic. So I think we're going to take a look and see another hand of poker. And you need to watch it very carefully. Decide what you think might just be in the hole.
Here we go. Frankie Doodle. It's a cash game. It's a cash game. Oh, I'm looking forward to this. Lots of play in here. And Max Spot has just joined the game, so he's put in his compulsory blind there, out of position. Pakistan, England, interesting, has put in a minimum raise. Well, you could have anything at this point, Cara.
We could do, yeah. Right, so pair of 10s, 5, 7, and something else.
This is like, it's just a great panel game. It's like we're a question of sport or something here. We're trying to work out who someone is from a little pixelated picture.
That's true. I think I probably have an easier time with that. Now...
check and a call.
What's he going to do here? Well, he's either thinking, oh,
That's strong enough to trap if he's got a king. If he's got a 9, he might check
Might
out a
do.
portion. Let's see what he does here. If he bets here, for me, this clinches it.
yeah, okay.
Well, I'm not saying what I think's in the hole, Cara.
No, don't, because you wouldn't want to sway the viewers.
But that bet for me clinches what I would put him on.
Okay, well, if you think that you know what's in the hole from that, you need to text hole and your answers to 62211. You've got until midnight tomorrow to let us know what you think's in the hole. Of course, that's going to cost you £1 plus your network cost as well to text that in. But it's a good way to test your poker intuition if you're actually watching carefully enough to see what you think your opponents might be holding, how they're playing. Right, now we have a very special tournament to take a look at. The beginning bits of which are fantastic. I've got to say, there's a couple hands in there that are absolute blinders. Now, this is my very first live on-air tournament.
Great Scott! It's time for Cara's tournament. So, have we missed your big hand?
Oh my God.
You've already got all the chips.
I can't believe that. That was my finest hour.
Just recap what happened in your finest hour, Cara.
Oh, but
Do
I
it
don't
verbally.
entirely remember. Okay.
Well, I remember what you had.
I had a pair of jacks.
You had jacks and you're quaking in your boots.
I was quaking in my boots because I wasn't quite sure what to do with them. I was thinking, yes, I know technically at this point I should raise, so I ticked the raise box.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I got so excited, I have no idea what everyone else did at that point, which I should have been watching, obviously. And saw the flop. There was another pair on the flop, so then I had 2 pair. Very excited. I was jumping up and down and gasping, and then I lost my microphone because I was so excited, and it all went a bit pear-shaped. But I won that hand. I actually ended up being chip leader for a while, which I'm very proud of. I mean, beginning stages of the tournament still, but chip leader, so very excited.
I think your opponent had Queen King, didn't he? He had 2 overcards to the flop. Well,
I was so excited, I
was
don't
looking
recall.
over your sheet. It's important to bear in mind what your opponent has.
I
you
know.
But he checked it on the turn. I was wondering what you'd have done if he'd raised you all in. Would you have committed all your chips, do you reckon, with those jacks? Could he have
What,
pushed
after
you
the
off
flop?
it? Yeah.
Oh, I don't think I would have. I don't think I would have gone for an all-in.
You'd have folded.
I think I probably would have folded that.
I didn't want to knock you out. Isn't that sweet?
Isn't that sweet? I think everyone was being quite nice to me, to be honest, and I appreciate it. Everyone who was on there and in the chat box and stuff was being really nice and kind because it was my first on-screen tournament, so thank you. Everyone's being really lovely.
Bet they won't be as lovely as that to me tomorrow, but we'll see.
No, I would hope not. But I would love to hear from the people who are actually playing against me, or any of you who are actually watching, because there are, I think, 80 people were watching the game online. So please do text or email in, because I would like to hear what you thought of what was going on. So there's a couple of ways you can get in touch with us. Let me know what you think. Text 62211. And if you want to send in an email, commiserations are welcome. poker@pokernightlive.co.uk. And of course, you can have your say. If you want to get your voice on the telly, how exciting. 0906 200 70 80 is the number to ring, and you need to make sure you get permission because that is £1 a minute. But you can have your say live on telly, and we will answer your question.
Have your say, it says.
Have your say. Now, we do have an email, speaking of emails and texts. So I think before, I'm just trying to draw it out here a bit, give you that sort of suspense. Ooh, make it more dramatic. I've got a bit of an email for you. Now, this is from Smooth Cut, and he says, "Hi guys, enjoying the show. Thought I'd let you know of a freak coincidence which happened a few minutes ago, which teaches me a lesson." Oh, well, lessons are always welcome. I'm playing 2 tables and got ace-queen off on the button on both, and had 3 and 4 limpers. I raised the pot on both and got called by 3 players on both. The flop on both came up with 2 suited cards along with a pair of queens. This is a bit of a coincidence. I decided to bet pot on one and to check the other. To cut a long story short, on the table where I bet the pot, they all folded. When I checked, but the one I checked on, I lost to the flush on the turn, which I called. So in trying to be cute and trap, I lost more and should have been content with flop bets. No more checking tonight for me. So that is a bit of a coincidence.
Yeah, it sounds like a
Exact same kind of
controlled
thing.
experiment in poker.
It is. It's amazing because that can't happen that often.
No, well, there you go. That just goes to show that if you multi-table enough in poker, in the end, everything weird will happen.
Stranger things have happened. Now, I think I'm going to have to start playing a bit more myself. Maybe multi-tabling is the way to go. But at the moment, I could barely cope with just the one table. And I think I get too drawn into the conversations in the chat box. It seems really antisocial, but maybe I need to actually turn the chat box off.
Well, Michelle's the same as you there, Cara.
Yeah?
She chats a lot in the chat box.
I like that bit of it.
I tend to ignore it.
Yeah, it's quite social, and I do feel a bit antisocial if I don't chat back. And I'm quite curious to see what people are going to say, but I think that kind of draws me in too much. I'm not watching what they're doing with their own hands. I'm not seeing the showdowns. It's just ridiculous.
That's what their evil plan is all along, Cara.
it?
See, you think they're gentlemen, you know, flirting with you in the chat box, but they're just trying to put you off your guard.
And they did as well. They really did.
Believe me, I know the mind of a poker player.
Do you?
Yes, it's exactly that sort of shenanigans.
Really? Well, if I ever play against you, I will bear that in mind.
Oh, I'm not like that.
Obviously not. You just have an understanding in the ways of poker.
Yes.
The ways of the poker gentleman and non-gentleman.
It's very nice of 80 people to sit down and wish you good luck in the chat box.
Lovely.
And talk about my hair.
I know, over and over again. Your hair seems to be quite the topic of conversation.
Any more emails?
Nope, that was it for the emails so far, but I would love to hear what you think about this tournament. We are going to go back and take a look at it. I think we're going to be able to see my big hand, which I'm very proud
Oh,
of.
we rewind it so we can see the
Yes,
jack.
yes.
Let's have a look then.
All right, do we have it? Do we have it?
No,
No.
you're still chipped up.
That's
well,
so
we know you played it
disappointing.
brilliantly, Cara.
But it was the only hand I won.
Don't give the game away.
Well, I think that's going to be obvious in a minute here.
So the blinds are 10-20, Cara. Just talk us through what's in your mind at this point.
Well, at this point, I'm just absolutely thrilled that I've won a hand. And so early on, and I'm thinking to myself, you know what? Maybe I won't actually be the first one to go out.
And were you?
No, I wasn't.
Ah, you said you came 7th.
Yeah. But still, I mean, I did last for quite some time. In terms of time, rather than players. But what I was mostly doing was just trying to stick to the idea of folding unless I had, you know, a good pair.
Jacks, for example.
Yes, exactly, jacks, for example. But like you say, if someone had gone all in, I probably would have folded because I don't know, I would assume that they had a bigger pair.
It was difficult, the situation you were in there, because I think the guy had Queen-King, but I think you probably would have to fold against a raise. If you re-raised you on the flop there, I think you've got to put him on a bigger pair.
That's what I would have thought. I'd probably maybe a pair of aces or something, which I know is statistically unlikely, but see, 3-7 there, obviously, whoosh, fold. I'm quite curious to see this now as an outside viewer, because when I was actually playing, I found it really difficult to focus on what everyone was doing. In this format, it's so much easier to actually see what obviously what everyone's got, but to see what they actually do with their hands. I find it so much easier to follow the game.
Were there any situations you remember where you remember thinking, oh, I'd like to see what he's got when we see this on the replay?
No, I've got to be honest, my entire mental capacity was taken up with
The chat
just
box.
checking, the chat box, and making sure I put the right tick in the right box. See, a pair of sevens, at this point, I remember you leaned over to me and you went, And I thought, what does mean? Good God, what does he mean by
So I confused you into calling.
Yes. I was completely confused, and so I called. And at this point, I've got the best hand, and I do believe I folded it.
Let's have a look.
Yeah, he raised it up. Oh, I saw the flop. There we go.
Well, I don't think you can call with 3 overcards.
No, that's what I thought as well. I didn't connect,
That's right.
so I folded.
Yeah, quite right too.
I'm pretty sure I folded. Let's. I did, yeah.
And what a fine fold it's going to be.
It took me a while, but I got there. So that wasn't such a bad play.
No, I've only seen top play so far. I saw you fold the deuce 7, whatever it was.
All right.
I've seen you call cheaply and not get raised with the 7s and let them go when you don't connect. So you played that brilliantly.
Okay. So I got a bit in over my head. I got all flustered and I lost it. But at the moment in this tournament, I'm still trying to stick to my outline, my game plan. Only go in with a large pair. Let it go if I don't connect with the flop.
It rather sounds like you're setting up an ending to the story that involved a pair.
Yeah?
Well, it does sound that way.
Well, I guess we'll have to see. But all that being said, yes, I would love to hear what people who were playing thought. It was nice to be able to play against some of the usuals, like Balrog and Isbridinos and QP. Again, see, just throwing them away. Discipline.
You're a very disciplined player, Karen. I think you deserve to go on and win it.
I wish I could do that, arrange that for you, but not this time. Perhaps next week, on one of the amateur nights when I'm on next week. When I play again, I will be a little less overexcited by the whole thing.
You've got Queen 5 in the big blinds.
I know.
What are you thinking when you pick this up, Karen?
I'm thinking it's not a big pair, so I'm going to fold it.
Okay.
I know. See, I was sticking to a very simple game plan, which didn't obviously work for me. I did think about the fact I was in the big blind, but I just... Yeah.
You see, the trouble is, next time you play, the same people are going to be playing against you. They've heard you describing your game plan. You're going to have to mix it up a bit.
I will do, won't I?
Or else they're going to run all over you.
See, perhaps that's part of my game plan in itself. Ooh. I'm creating a persona.
I'd be more convinced by that if it didn't sound like you just thought of that then.
Right. But that's probably part of my persona.
You're so cunning.
Aren't I, though?
I could stick a tail on you and call you a weasel.
You could try.
Maybe not.
Now, why on earth?
No, you're in the small blind, it's
Yeah.
fine. Don't worry.
Okay.
What are you going to do, though?
I'm probably going to fold.
Let's
5-6 offsuit. Even in the small blind, folded.
Jack 9, 2-6. Folded by Great Scott. And I see here you're still, not quite chip leader at this point, Cara. Balrog has overtaken you.
Yeah. He overtook me quite quickly, actually. But at some point, I was actually chip leader. It only lasted a moment. But I was quite proud of that moment. But having seen some of these people play, it was quite I don't know, I felt quite honoured to actually be sitting down at a table with them. That sounds quite sad, doesn't it?
Well, you spend so much time looking at their play.
I know, it was really nice to actually be in a game with them.
The other side of the
I loved
goldfish
it.
bowl.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I'm really looking forward to it again next week.
Good.
And getting better and being able to, get a bit more comfortable with the whole thing. Yeah.
6-7 offsuit. Well, I think you're going to fold this. I've got a strong feeling in my bones that this is going to be folded.
Yep.
And there's still 8 players here, Cara, so some of them would they're going to get knocked out soon, is what I'm trying to say.
Well, Isbridinos is all in, is all I'm saying.
Well, he might be about to get knocked out.
See, I didn't go out first. Haha, I didn't go out first.
Isbrid goes.
Although, my commiserations to you,
Isbrid.
Isbridinos, because, yeah.
But thank God it was you, not me.
Oh,
is what
thank
you're saying.
good. Exactly. I really didn't want to go out first. Because I know Michelle came third in her tournament and did so well, and Cass came first in his last night.
Oh, did he?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, right.
So I've kind of let the side down a little bit. But, hey, it's just the way it goes. Queen 9, what would you do with that?
Actually, Cara, at this point, I might well put in a bet because I think my image is just too tight.
I wondered about that. I really did.
Queen 9's not a great hand, but that might be the
It's
time.
something, yeah. Okay. Just to kind of mix it up a bit, not to be so predictable.
Yeah, I've put in 3 times the big blind now.
Really?
I might still with it.
Okay.
Maybe in one later position I'd put the bet in, maybe not there.
Gotcha. See, that's something I will think about for next time. Or not. See? Ooh. Can't be telling you what I'm going to do. I'm so cagey, aren't I? Ooh. I'm going to have to get a muzzle or something, or muffle myself so that the viewers can't actually hear me.
If you present Poker Night Live in a muzzle, Cara, we're going to attract a whole different sort of clientele.
Yeah, this is true. Dog lovers is what he means there, obviously.
Oh dear, I think Clay's in trouble here. He's caught 2 pair. He's up against trips. Fortunately, the possibility of a 10 is going to save him. And he might only flat call that. Look, I'm commentating on this like it's live. It's ancient history by now.
Yeah, but most of the people out there haven't seen it. Only 80 people were watching.
Okay, that's true.
That's true. This is brand new for most of the people watching. Right, King, Queen, offsuit, Clay. Pair of aces for Aunt Sally. Oh, very exciting.
Time to raise. Isolating raise. 200 is. It's going to be folded, and I think Clay probably will have to give Aunt Sally the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
And he does.
I wish I'd done that more often. Of course, I didn't have a pair of aces, but still.
Ace Jack. Great Scott, Cara. What are you going to do?
Oh, God. This is embarrassing.
Let's have a look. You flat call.
I panicked. I didn't want to get out, but I didn't want to, it's not a large pair either, so I just thought, I don't know what to do here. Awful, isn't it? So it's Ace Jack against Ace Jack. I had no idea if I would have just held on, if I'd have just had the nerve.
Well, it's difficult to call on the flop there. I think I'd have probably folded or raised before the flop, but I don't think the call's terrible.
I should have raised, though, instead of just checking.
On the flop?
Yeah.
On the flop, no. You don't know where you are. Aunt Sally might well have a big pair.
Okay.
I don't really want to go into battle with Ace Jack anyway against a raise. But I don't think you played it terribly.
Okay.
Let's have a look at this. I'm not going to call, are you? Nah.
No. I saw that he went in all in, and I just thought, no, I don't have enough.
So now you've got, let's see, about 13 big blinds.
Yeah.
14 big blinds.
And at this point, everyone in the chat box is starting to say, "Ooh, you better start, loosening up a bit. You're being blinded away." And I started thinking, "Ooh, maybe that's true."
14 big blinds. You've got plenty of
I
time.
know.
Don't listen to them.
I shouldn't have.
Them railbirds.
Although still, 4-6. Wasn't going to play it.
No.
No. I wish I could provide more in-depth commentary on what I was thinking at these points, but seriously, it was just all a bit of a blur.
Well, should we have a look at your pre-flop folds after this?
Oh my goodness, stats with my name on it. Oh, yes, please.
You'll play laid bare in cold, logical, analytical statistics.
I like it. I like it very much.
Let's just see how
quite curious.
wins a lot gets on. What do you think they're going to be? Do you think you're a raiser or a caller before the flop?
I think I'm a raiser before the flop. I didn't almost go in at all, though. I didn't see hardly any flops, from what I recall.
Yeah, it's just pretty. There you are. You're tighter than.
Oh.
Look at that. Top of the league in tightness.
Yeah. Great. Except, yeah, okay.
You're miles tighter than anyone.
Too tight.
Well, you're still in there. You've got more chips than you started with. You're doing fine. You're doing fine. You haven't picked up any big hands apart from the jacks. So you've done nothing wrong.
Okay. At this point, that's good to know. As the blind started going up, this is when I wasn't quite sure. Because I know in the middle stages of a tournament, you need to loosen up a bit. Well, I was planning to loosen up, but I wasn't quite sure if I was in the middle stages of the tournament because there were still 7 of us left, although the blind had gone up. So I wasn't really entirely certain what to do with that.
I think with 13 big blinds, which is where you are, 14, is it? 13, 14. Anyway, you're very much in the middle stages. I mean, you've got room to bet and get away from it. But
so that pair of 9s I probably should have.
Is that what you
Except
just
that
folded?
yeah, but QP did go all in though, so
yeah,
I just didn't want
to.
to.
You can let it go. You can let it go.
Okay. Let it go. Good advice for life, really.
We're still looking to have another player knocked out before you get beheaded.
No. Really?
Yeah, you went out. Oh, you went out 7th.
Yeah.
Of course, I'm forgetting it. It's an 8-handed tournament. I think
Yeah.
it was a 10-handed tournament.
I wish. I went out 2nd.
Well, as I said, Cara, it doesn't matter what position you go out. All that matters is whether you make the money or not. And even if you don't, if you play well, oh, here are the nines, then you play well.
Well, I did try.
Pair of nines.
Yeah. And I'm very conscious at this point that I've got just over 10 times a big blind. Ish.
You've got to fold there, Cara. I think it's a mad re-raise in QP, but there's no way you can call when it's been raised and re-raised.
That's what I was thinking.
It's absolute garbage. You've got to chuck it away. I mean, we can see it's a massive favourite there because their aces are cancelling each other out. But you made the right decision, in my opinion.
Okay. Oh, you know what? This is so nice to get your commentary on the game. I feel a bit, you know, a bit more calm now.
Vindicated.
Well, I was thinking vindicated, but that sounds a bit, I don't know, a bit strong maybe. I don't
Mostly vindicated.
Well, yeah. I did my best, and I enjoyed it very much.
I'll tell you what, that head shopper is attacking your blinds wholesale, naughty boy. Does he go on and win it? I think he might.
I don't know. No, I do know who won it. I don't know if I should say, because everyone who's been who didn't actually watch the game online.
Keep it under your hat.
Yeah, I don't want to ruin the surprise.
So at this point, Cara, you've still got more chips than you started with.
I know, I'm feeling quite good about that, although, as I said, very conscious that they are being chipped away. I'm being blinded away here.
No panic at all.
No? I think I let it get to me, and I did panic just a bit. Do you think, for such a beginner as myself, that I should be paying more attention to not just position, but whether or not I have the big or the small, like if I have one of the blinds or if I have a dealer button? Or should I just be sticking more to the whole game plan of it's an early stages of a tournament, just play with the large pairs?
If your game plan is to play with the big hands and you're in the blinds, generally you want to put yourself all in. If you are going in, if you're going to put money in the pot and you've got, say, 13 big blinds, then, because you don't want to be out of position on the flop against players who you believe to be superior to you.
Okay.
So if you're playing with a big hand, stick it all in from the big blind or the small blind.
Right.
That's not particularly brilliant poker, but it's an effective way to play if you're playing with a big hand and you believe your opponents are better than you, because otherwise they'll exploit their position against you on the flop.
Right. Okay. It's dangerous in case they might actually call.
Well, they
I
might call
lose,
the worst
but
hand. But
yeah. True.
Also, they're more likely to fold if they've got no room to use their position on the flop because you've put yourself all in.
Right. Okay. All good stuff. All good stuff. Thank you very much. The doctor is in.
QP 66666. Is this it, Cara? Is this the one you go out on?
Yeah, the 310. I went all in with 310. I didn't do that badly. Not quite yet, anyways.
All the blinds have got up now, though, Cara. 8160 now. You are short stacked.
Yeah.
But then so's everyone else.
But this is where I think I did start to panic a bit. And I'm thinking to myself, is this the middle stages now? Do I need to loosen up? Oh my goodness, should I play with Queen 9? What should I do? I'm on the big blind. Yeah, I don't think I played this.
I think Barrow's going to have a pop at your big blind, Cara. Yes, he does.
Yeah. And I knew Queen 9 was just not good enough to play with that sort of money. So
That in the bin.
Yep.
So you're sitting there now with five big blinds, less than that.
Do you think I let myself get bullied? Get pushed around too
much?
much?
No, you didn't. None of these hands have been calling it. Ace-Jack against Aunt Sally, I'd have folded it, actually.
Okay.
I might have raised it, but I'd probably have folded it. So you've not done a step wrong so far, in my opinion.
Ha! That's so nice.
Let's see.
Yeah, see, it's going to go wrong. Oh, no. Oh.
Well, Cara, what can you do? Queens versus aces. It's a train smash. There's nothing you can do. Barrel QK's
and I'm on the button.
Almost certainly got a worse hand than that.
I go all in, because I'm short stacked.
You can't fold queens there. You can't fold queens. You're not amazed when you see the aces.
Well, no.
But you can't fold queens. It's too big.
It was too big, and I was so short stacked. And I just really hoped to connect on the flop, which I didn't.
You didn't?
And... Phew,
Well, all I can say is
I'm
you
out.
played it. It's perfectly fine. Also, Curry, you've been having your blinds nicked wholesale for the last 10 minutes.
Yeah.
So they're going to be attacking your blinds with all sorts of junk.
God,
I mean,
how many times are they going to show this hand? Over and over and over again, just because you guys think it's funny. I think the guys in the gallery think this is funny.
Until I say something rude about your play, but I can't. It was fine.
Oh, thank you, Tom.
You got the queens. To be honest, if you had jacks, I'd still have said you've got to stick it in. Tens, to be honest, I don't mind a call with those either.
Really?
Ace, king, much worse hands than queens. You'd have to go there. You're short stacked.
See, I feel quite good about that. Now, I kind of want to see my moment of glory, though. My
let's have a look at it.
One measly moment of
Great.
glory. So just for me.
Let's have a
I
look
did
at
enjoy
it.
this very much, but this is the point that I really enjoyed.
1,000 chips, Great Scott with the jacks.
Yep.
Oh, the minimum raise. What a maestro of poker she is.
Well,
What's
to
the
be
minimum
honest,
raise for there then?
I think I ticked the wrong box. I know, that's really sad, isn't it? I need to play a bit more on that site and understand how it all works, because the software kind of threw me a bit.
You've been raised. Now jacks look a bit iffy now. However, Easbrid is a bit of a fruity player, Easbrid.
Mm-hmm.
And you call him.
I believe so.
Nah.
What did I not do?
You
All
checked
right.
it.
I checked it.
There's 270 in the pot. You've got to start worrying about a higher pair, but there are lower pairs as well. 8s, 9s, 10s, all lower than you.
That's what I was thinking, and that's what I was hoping.
Then the ace arrives.
And then I started getting a bit nervous, because I thought, oh, what if he has an ace?
But I'll tell you what, Cara, why your check is brilliant here is that your check is perfectly consistent with you holding an ace. So Easbrid is much less likely to push you off it than you might otherwise fear. He bets 200.
10 times a big blind. He's trying. I'm having none of it. Ooh, get the nerves of steel there.
And you call, and Easbrid here. Now, this is a question I asked you. Could he have pushed you off it here for a bet of 480? Would you have folded?
I don't think I would have.
You'd have called.
Yeah, I think I'm in too much now. I'm in too deep. At this point, I was just crossing my fingers and hoping that I was right. Yay! And I was right.
Fantastic. And chip leader, there it was.
Very exciting for those 2 or 3 minutes that it lasted.
Brilliant. Well, they can't take that away from you.
No, they can't take that away from me. And you know what? I would love to hear, because your commentary has been very informative, and I would really like to hear what other people out there thought of my play too. And you can be as brutal and harsh as you like. Honestly, I can take it. I won't cry on camera. I might have a sniffle off camera, but that's about it. Now, we have had a couple of emails. There's one here from someone who has been talking to me in the chat box, Gorky Park.
Was he the one who proposed?
No, I can't remember which one proposed. That was
Gosh, you have so many proposals you can't remember.
Ooh, I tell you. Oh, I know. But this one was the one who was making moose comments.
Oh,
and I
dear.
thought,
How vulgar.
But he meant well. He meant well. And it says, Kara and Dr. Tom, great show. Unlucky with the queens. Thank you. Thank you very much. The moose milk reference in the chat box was meant to refer to a Canadian Navy alcoholic drink made with the following. And he thought it might calm my nerves if I had one before I played. Probably would have not helped. I don't know if much would have. Navy moose milk, rum, Kahlua vodka, vanilla ice cream, and a bit of milk. But he says skimmed milk, just to make it health conscious. Oh, that's lovely. He says, enjoy and give your vehicle keys to a party that is staying sober. Well, thanks very much for that. Navy moose milk or some such thing.
Sounds great, yeah.
It does really. And thank you for that. I appreciate that. Now, let's go back to the tournament. I'm not in it anymore, but we'll still watch it because it's still interesting, mostly.
That's very gracious of you, Cara. That's very gracious of you. And you don't just want to walk away.
I thought so.
Who's your money on them?
Well, I know who won.
Oh, okay.
I was watching very carefully. But at this point, people did start going out like crazy. Because look, the blinds are up now at 163.20.
I reckon they're all just hanging around to knock you out between them. They're colluding to have you out. And then they said, well, now we've lost interest. We've got Cara out.
Yeah.
Let's gamble.
You big bullies.
Well, Headshopper's gone all in with his queens. Well, let's see if he gets his cracked, Cara.
Yeah.
Time for you to have a hissy fit, I think.
A hissy fit, even.
Same flop. 7-7 deuce. Wasn't that what you got?
No.
That would be too spooky.
No, it wasn't the same.
7-7 something, though.
No, there wasn't a pair on the flop
Wasn't
when
it?
I went out. No, because an
Oh,
ace.
I'm thinking of the jacks.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
was
you're thinking the jack. It
that's
was
right,
a
yeah.
pair of. It was a pair of sevens, actually, wasn't it?
Yeah.
With the jacks, yeah.
Spooky.
Spooky.
QP's going to put in a raise here. It might as well be 170 because that's as much as either of those blinds has. 320 with 170. In fact, 320 with 140 will do it. You might as well stick it all in because it's easier on the mouse. Yeah, he's been called by both players. Double execution. Could be. Both players miss.
Ooh. Look at that. Just decimating the table.
Down to 3, yeah, and the money already. My money's on Hedgehopper,
Yeah?
or Balrog, or QP.
Hedging your bets a bit there.
Doing a bit of arbitrage here. Well, he's been doing that sort of raise all night.
That's for sure. Will QP have any of that?
No,
I doubt
don't
it.
think so.
I feel better now that I know that some of my play wasn't completely off the wall. It was actually quite sensible, so that's good. I
Yeah,
feel
it's
much
fine.
better for
You
that.
got unlucky with the queens. On another day, you double through with those queens.
Cool.
Yeah.
Good to know, good to know.
Balrog, is he going to fight back? Bit small for a call. I think he might let it go.
Yeah.
No, he's
Oh.
played it. Yeah, good call. Good call. He's certainly a favourite there. Queen 5 is about 40%. Balrog about 60% before the flop.
Okay. Huh. The QP's just raking it in at this point.
Let's see if he, if this is a sign for him to stop. 8-7 suited. If you haven't done any betting for a while, good for a bet. But he has just been betting, so yeah, he lets it go. He's afraid he'll get called. Balrog getting dangerously low now, and that's not the hand he was looking for. He wanted to
No.
put in a raise on the button, but he couldn't do it. And he takes that one down, and that's absolutely vital because it just about keeps him within bluffing parameters. I think I'll have to bet this. Queen 7 suited. Yeah, it's good for my chips. And not looking good now though. Up against 2 pair.
Uh-oh.
He's got absolutely no outs whatsoever. He's gone.
But again, didn't really play that wrongly.
No, he played fine.
Okay.
Played fine.
Played absolutely fine. Just unlucky.
Now is man going to romp home here? Hedgehopper.
Head to head.
Oh, that's good for all his chips. In it goes. And a good call from Hedgehopper. He's only a tiny favourite though. And now, club. Is the club going to end it for
Oh,
Hedgehopper?
oh.
Yes, it is. He's decimated.
Yeah. Say goodbye, Hedgehopper. QP wins.
Not yet,
Oh,
not yet.
oh.
Next hand. Hang on a minute.
Wait a minute. Hang on.
Well, there's the straight. Straight prevails. And hedges out.
Yep, and QP wins it. Well done, QP. The victor, and to the victor goes the spoils. That $5 tournament was just... It was a roller coaster ride of emotion. We laughed, we cried, jumped up and down for a little while as well. I enjoyed that very much.
It's a great new idea, this, I think, playing live on TV.
I look forward to you playing.
I think I'm on tomorrow. So
Good.
tune
I'm
in
gonna have to
tomorrow,
watch that,
find
yeah.
a seat. Well, one of us, it's a pro night tomorrow. I don't know who I'm on with, but we'll toss a coin, I guess.
Cool. I can't wait to see that. I think I'm going to learn a lot watching you guys play. I'd like to
Okay.
be here one of the nights that you're playing and just watch what you do and hear you talking about it.
All right. Well,
Okay.
you won't get paid for it, but swing by.
Well, because I love the game and I love you guys, I'll come by.
Okay.
All right.
Come by.
Now we have some emails.
Good.
We have one here from Lord
Ah,
Sam,
he's
who
back.
was, and Lord Sam was watching play as well. Says, good evening, guys. Great show as usual. Just a quick question for Dr. Tom. A poker site were giving Ace-King as 2-to-1 underdog against King-King, but they were also saying that an ace will flop 23% of the time. If this is the case, shouldn't an Ace-King be more like 4-to-1 underdog against King-King? Could you tell me how to work those odds out? Right. Many thanks. P.S. We'll look forward to a game against you again sometime, Dr. Tom, i.e. Makisapa? Is that?
Yeah, that's roughly
Is that-
right. That's one of my
okay.
online handles.
Okay, Makisapa. As for Kara, not bad, a bit nervous, but you'll get over that. Thanks.
Yeah, sometimes Lord Sam, Ace-King will make the winning hand with a straight or a flush. Not always with an ace.
There you go. Quick question, quick answer. We have a few more emails here. Let's take a look. Email from Hutchie. Hutchie says, hey guys, love the show. 2 very quick questions. Firstly, I was just wondering what things a beginner should be watching for when watching poker on Poker Night Live. That's a very good question. Also, I think it would be a really good idea too to put the main ideas taken from the shows on the website, especially for us slow folk. I understand what you mean. Things like last night's taking notes on players. Cheers, have a good one. Oh, okay, so having a compiled list of the major tips, I suppose, is what you're looking at.
So his question is, what things should a beginner be watching for when watching poker on Poker Night Live?
Yeah, that's a
Well,
good question, I think.
Yeah, I think basically just listen. I mean, it's pure gold dust, everything we're saying. You know, every single drop of it is just beautiful poker theory explained in the best possible way by probably the most charismatic presenter
Charismatic,
on
debonair.
TV. Her first name is Cara. But no, seriously, I mean, we do tend to say the most important things again and again. So things like don't play with rubbish aces. It's better to raise rather than call. Position is useful. Look at the pot odds. Stuff like this we say again and again and again because it's relevant to so many situations in poker. So I think if you've been watching for more than a couple of nights, you'll quickly get an idea of the really, really important things to be going along with when you're learning poker. As for putting stuff on the forum, well, we could do, but then no one would watch the show because it would all be there.
True.
So,
Now they'd watch it anyways.
of course they would.
Obviously they would. Well, those are some very good questions, and thank you very much for your comments as well. We always love to hear from you, the viewers, whether it be a question or a comment, and there are a couple of ways you can get in touch with us here in the studio. Text us on 62211, and you can send us an email if you've got a question or if you have just something that you need to say, some poker-related topic that you want to talk about, poker@pokernightlive.co.uk. And if you want to, you can have your say. If you want to get your voice on air, call 0906 200 7080, and we will play some of those, and we will answer your questions or talk about your comments. And there you go. And now one of our new regular features, What's in the Hole?
What's in the hole?
Yeah, so we've got a new question for you. Let's take a look and try to figure out, if we watch carefully enough, we'll find out what's in the hole.
It's a cash game hole, Cara.
Ooh, it's very exciting.
It is, it's good. I love this feature.
Yeah, I think it's quite valid, really. It's very valid. No, I think it's a very good way to understand where you are in poker. If you can actually, if you're at the point where you can start to see what you think other players might have based on how they're playing.
Mm-hmm. King 9-9. Double suited. Does help a lot, of course, seeing what the other players have, because you can rule out some cards. Well, not rule them out, but decrease the likelihood of them being there. There's not a 9 or a king, for example, in the other players' cards. 25 in the pot. Now there are 2 draws there to flushes on the board, but of course they'll be no good if someone already has a full house. Well, if someone's got a full house, we know who it is. 25 in the pot. Frankie Doodle bets, and he bets half the pot.
What does that tell us? What is in the hole?
Well, it's folded, so we get no information from where the chips went. There you go. I'm sure people are going to be texting whole and their answer to 62211.
Yes, I'm sure they will, and they will, like you say, his opponent folded, so we didn't know whether his cards were actually strong enough to win the hand, whether he just bullied them off the pot or not.
Good go either way. Good choice of question, whoever chose it.
Yeah, I like that one. That's quite a thinker. Now, cash games and tournaments, slightly different. Speaking of cash games, let's take a look for the last couple of minutes at our cash game. All right, 25 50-cent cash game there. We have one seat empty. And there you go. That's what I have to say about that.
Okay, well, I'll take up where you left off, Cara, and say there are 7 seats that are full. But that's all I've got to say right now. Good Lord, pair of 8s. That's what Matt's got. What is he going to do with them?
What will he do?
He's going to call the minimum raise from V3 Ranger. Down comes a flop. And trip 8s. Here's the consequence. He said check. He said check. Flush draw arrives. And now it probably gets a bit fruity because V3 Ranger's got a lot of outs there. He's got the straight outs for the jack, he's got the diamond outs for the river. As far as he knows, his king and his 10. His king 10 may be good already, or it may outdraw, say, a single 8 held in Matt Ace of Queen King Jack 10's hand. So that will certainly be called. V3 is playing it the drawing way, and if he check folds here, I won't be amazed. I'd put in about 4 here. Something that could credibly be a bluff, but which might tempt V3 to call with something like a bad pair or even just a king. Let's have a look. Oh, Matt goes the other way, reverse psychology. It's so big it must be a bluff. He's sitting there with a full house, praying that V3's got a big hand. But I don't think V3's going to call with king high.
Nope.
Nope.
It may have looked like a bluff, but it wasn't enough to drag him in. And he
gets rewarded with the kings. Four times the big blind. Don't think Tragic Trev will get inventive from the small blind with 6-7 suited. Nope. In the bin it goes.
Some very small, random hands.
Yes, they are. Well, all poker hands are random, but some look more random than others.
Technically random,
I know
yes.
what you're saying.
Wow, the best hand there was the A7, highest kicker anyways, and he just tossed it away like so much rubbish.
The evils of early position is what he was experiencing.
The evils of early, I like that. That would be a good one for a list on the forum. The evils of early position.
Sounds like a sort of Mills and Boone poker romance.
Goodness gracious, ooh, our matron.
Pair of kings is good. Takes it down. Well, I can feel Tragic Trev itching to get involved, but he's not going to loosen up his values. Perhaps he's going to wait for that button to go past and he'll put in a little nickette.
A little bit of statistical knowledge there.
He's almost as tight as you there.
But not quite.
You were 88, weren't you, Cara? 89, in fact, I think you were.
I think I was. 89%. Pre-flop folds. I think I might need to loosen up just a bit next time.
Try some moose milk, that should help.
I think I'd be well loose after that. Anyways, that is the first 3 hours of the show. We're going to be back in a few minutes, so do stay tuned for more great poker knowledge and poker action here on Poker Night Live with myself and Dr. Tom. We'll see you very soon. Hello and welcome back to the last hour here of Beginner's Night on Poker Night Live. It is the first week of our new Bells and Whistles show. All the exciting features.
It's been fantastic.
It has, hasn't it? I've really enjoyed it.
Have we got any more bells and whistles in this last hour?
Well, there's always stuff to keep your eyes open for.
So no.
No.
Okay, fine.
But it's going to be the usual fantastic poker. So make sure that if you have questions that you want answered, you've got an expert here. Use him. Use him. Right, you can get in touch with us here in the studio a couple of different ways. You can send us a text at 62211. And if you have a longer question, if you want to comment on something you've seen on the TV tables tonight, poker@pokernightlive.co.uk. And of course, if you want to get your voice on the telly, oh, how exciting, you can have your say on Poker Night Live. 0906 200 7080 is the number. Make sure you do get permission because there is a charge to use that. It's about £1 a minute. And we're going to read your question out. Oh, I'm sorry, we're going to play your question out or your message, and there will be someone here to answer it. How very exciting.
But get them in soon because we've only got an hour left.
This is true. There is less than an hour left for the show tonight, so make sure if you do want to do that or get your questions in by the email or the text that you do that as well. Now, I think we're going to go straight to a cash game because I fancy a little bit of cash game action here.
Okay, let's do it.
Yeah, all right.
Is it going to be the same game? Yes, it is. 25-50. Same players. Johan Haran joins. Trev to his left. Matt top straight's been here for a while. V3 Ranger. So plenty of chips on the table. Matt sitting there with 3 times the maximum buy-in. That always feels good.
It must do.
Maximum respect due from anyone who sits down.
Maximum respect. It's a great screen name, actually.
Yeah, it's not been used, has it?
Maximum respect.
That too, yeah.
Right, Johan Haran still there, playing away, whiling away the hours.
He's had a busy night.
He has done. And Tragic Trev, who, might I add, I know is watching because he was making comments in the chat box while I was playing the tournament earlier.
Yep.
Rather off-colour as well, some of them.
Really?
I know, I was shocked. Absolutely
It's amazing
shocked.
what gets typed into chat boxes.
Yes, it is amazing. Maybe it was typos, I don't know. I don't think so, though.
Well, he is married, Cara.
That is tragic.
Why, are you interested?
Well, I might have been, but I'm not now. No, I think I will leave the poker romances to the to the rest of y'all.
He trains dogs for a living.
Does he? What are you trying to say about that? What are you trying to say? Seriously, Tom.
There's no subtext. I'm just passing on a bit
What
of
is the subtext there?
interesting information.
Thank you. He trains dogs.
He does, yeah.
Good, good, good for him.
I've seen it. It's amazing.
Really? What kind of dogs?
Oh, the trainable ones, you know, those sheepdog types.
The ones that are able to be trained.
Yeah.
Okay, like collies, border collies.
That was what I was looking for, yeah.
Okay, so yes, my parents have border collies. They're very good horse dogs. So if you want to round up horses and work with cattle and whatnot.
Of course, you're from the Wild West, aren't you?
Yeah,
From
I am indeed.
Dixonville,
Oh
Canada.
my God, I can't believe you remembered that.
I can't believe it either. I didn't intend to.
That's quite scary, really. Yes, we used to round up the horses, moving them from pasture to pasture in the spring and the fall, and using the border collies.
Well, there you go, Trev. Can your border collies round up horses?
Yes. That's what I want to know.
We're going to see an amazing play from the small blind. He's thought a bit too long about it. Still sticking $2? Nope. Let it go.
Let it go. Maybe that'll be my catchphrase. Everyone's got their own catchphrase on the show. Maybe mine could be let it go. Casper's is look at that. So I could have a random catchphrase. Let it go. Right, Howley, let it go.
What about Matt with his ace-5 suited?
Right, well, this is a cash game, and I got to be honest with you, I've never played a cash game. Well, that's not true, actually. That's not strictly true. I've only ever lost money in cash games. Rapidly, usually.
Well, that's a bit different from never playing one, isn't it?
Okay.
It's a bit like me saying, no, I never put money on the horses. Oh, well, what I mean is I just lose money on it.
Well, it doesn't feel like I'm playing because it doesn't take very long.
Well,
Anyways.
I'd say the same as you, Cara. If I could, but I can't because it's your catchphrase, I'd have said let it go.
Yeah?
But unfortunately, you've nicked that one.
I've coined that one already. Let it go.
Look, Queens, do you feel a shudder of fear when you pick up those now?
I will do, you know? Unlucky ladies.
It takes a while to get away from this. Fear response.
I bet it does, actually. How do the people there at home, how do the viewers get away from this fear response? If you've been, I don't know, if you've had your aces cracked or if you were on a really good flush draw or something and it doesn't go well for you, do you then feel a bit nervous the next time you have that hand or the next time you have that same draw? I'd love to hear from you. So if you want to text or email in, tell me exactly how to get over my fear of the queens, the evil ladies. I feel they're against me. If I see them again, I will be shuddering with nerves.
Wow. Any psychologists out there?
Poker at PokerNightLive.co.uk or 62211 on the text. Tell me how you deal with that sort of negative response.
Well, look at this. Johan Harren's got the worst straight in the world. He's got 5-6, there's 7, 8, 9, 10 jack on the board, and Matt's got a queen at the other end. That is the worst straight in the world.
Wow.
Amazing.
And there it is, the worst straight in the world.
Oh, well, let's have it again. Look at that. There's also 3 spades on the board, just to make it even worse. Ah, well. Still, Matt didn't have the nuts. King, Queen would be the best possible straight. Cara, why are you giggling? Is it because I said nuts? Because that's really childish.
Something else entirely.
Is it my hair?
Yes. Oh, I love your hair.
Thank you.
Hooded claw.
So what do you think of this particular hand, Cara? There's a flush there.
I think it's a fantastic flush draw there on the board, and Matt is definitely going to clean up.
Yes, he is. That old flush draw on the river takes it down. And fold it around to Kite Master.
And there we go. I think we're going to check out a slightly higher stake game.
Ooh la la.
Go and see a 50-cent $1 game. There we go. So yes, but do let me know if you have any advice for me. How do you get away from that fear response when you've had your aces cracked or you've had a great draw that's gone to nothing and you've lost everything on it? Do you get emotionally attached to these things? Do you, Tom? Or are you too much of a professional at this point? You've played a lot of poker. You know to let it go.
I'll tell you what, Cara, I don't get emotionally battered by hands because I know the ins and outs of a particular hand very, very well. So I know pretty much what
can happen and might happen.
offers me, what Queens offers me, what Ace King offers me. But particular plays, so for example, a continuation bet on the flop, when I bet before the flop and I miss on the flop, but I decide to come out betting anyway, that sort of play, I can get beaten around so much on that I give it up for a while. Because when it comes to making a play, you've got to go into that with some amount of confidence, because if, for example, the bluff doesn't work on the flop, you might have to fire another shot on the turn. And if you're feeling inconfident by then you might lose a pot for want of putting in a second bluff. So while I suffer the same syndrome as you do, it's not in the case of hands, it's in the case of specific plays.
I see.
Yeah.
It's a bit more, yes, I'd understand that. Mine's a bit more basic, being at a more basic level of poker. Yours is a much higher level of nerve.
Much higher level of neurosis.
Yes.
Thank you very much. That's the nicest thing anyone said to me today.
You're very, very welcome.
Oh, there's Tragic Trev in seat 2. And Mr. Snappit. King's still good, likely to stay there, I would say. And smug, won't be feeling terribly smug about that hand. I wonder who's going to kick proceedings off. King Jack offsuit early position, I agree with Trev. and smug limps him. Interesting there. Snap it in the big blind. Has caught a queen, and he leads out. Takes the pot. Now, how much are the kings? Three big blinds, 4 big blinds? Basically, what he wants to put in here is whatever he's been putting in when he's been stealing. Don't change the pattern. Make them think you're stealing.
Right.
Because you want a player with that hand. Of course, sometimes you'll get called by an ace, and an ace will flop, but mostly it won't.
Play the numbers. What is the most likely thing to have happen?
That's right.
Okay. I suppose it is quite important that you don't allow the rest of your opponents to have a perfect read on you and how you're playing. I mean, that's incredibly important, isn't it?
Yeah, you're dead in the water.
You really are, yeah.
And Eaton Farm Pro was probably wondering how he was going to play that 8-9 suited, and the decision was taken out of his hands.
Good old Ken Snappit.
Lays down 5-7 as his won't, and indeed everyone else's.
Well, yes. Letting it go. Well, not the, let's see. Eaton Farm Pro has a flush draw, or had a flush draw. Let's see if it comes together.
One more spade will do it for him. He's also got a deuce for the straight, or an ace.
Ooh, that'll do it.
Ooh, interesting little bet there of 1.
It must be a nice position to be in. So many different ways you could win.
Yeah, only the flush was really very secure, but anything that will give you a winning hand is nice.
It's nice to have more than just the one out.
Still waiting for a move from you, Trev, in the small blind. 10-6 off. We're going to see fireworks. No. Makes the statistically sound play and lays it down. Now, is he going to have a nick with the ace-3? Surely it's going to be folded to him. No. Keeping his values high.
Well done. Must do that in life, as in poker.
Yeah, I don't mind a bet from the button. I don't mind a fold either, really, with ace-3. I certainly don't want to call.
I suppose everyone else had folded around to him as well, so it would have made it easier for him to put a bit of a bet, have a bit of a flutter.
Yep. Maybe more of a tournament play, a steal on the button there.
Yeah.
People are more likely to be conserving their chips in the tournament.
Would you suggest, if someone's a new player, that they stick to either tournament play or cash games and get to know one format a bit better before kind of branching out?
That's a good question. That's a very good question, Cara.
Oh, well, thank you.
Probably yes. I suppose it's a bit like kids growing up who, when they're bilingual, they're a bit confused for a bit, and then they get the hang of the 2 languages. And the same with poker, is it will probably delay your development a little bit, but then you'll quickly become proficient at both.
Unless you get so, I don't know, distracted and a bit. Find it so difficult trying to do 2 at the same time, I suppose. Could be a bit, what's the word I'm looking for? It's too late. I've lost it.
I mean, there's something to be said for learning things in parallel, because once you get good at one thing, it's difficult to take time out to learn another.
I can see how that would be true, yeah.
I just can't quite find the time to learn how to be a good stud player, because I know I've got to stop playing Hold'em and just play stud and concentrate on stud.
Right.
And I just think, well, you know, I'm losing money learning a game, playing for micro stakes, when I could be playing Texas or Omaha. So, whereas if I'd learnt that in tandem with Hold'em, it would have been a different story.
I suppose so, and it can be difficult to go back to the beginning as well, because you are going to be starting at lower levels, you're going to be losing more, like you say. It can be quite hard on the old, I don't know, self-confidence.
Yeah, that side of it I don't mind. I mean, I like learning new games anyway. But maybe just in the case of poker, I just thought if I'm going to spend 2 hours in front of a monitor, I'd rather be doing it in a game that I know I've got an expectation in.
Fair enough. Speaking of switching games, Tom in Birmingham sent in an email. He thinks I might want to switch over to bobsleigh. Completely random. He says that, he says, good morning guys, bad luck with the game, Kara. Sure you'll do better next time, and thank you for that, Tom. Forgive me for going off topic, but I just noticed the resemblance between you and Shelley Rudman. Spooky, bobsleigh silver medalist. Well, there you go. I bet she, well see, she didn't go out 7th. She came in 2nd.
Is she a Canadian bobsleigh?
I have no idea.
Well,
British,
thanks,
I think.
Tom.
British bobsleigh, yeah. It says maybe you could take up the skeleton if your poker career goes downhill. Right, twin power there with a pocket rocket.
He's got this pretty much sewn up, barring nothing. He has it completely sewn up. And there are no cards for Tragic Trev that will help him. But I think he's going to have to at least call this. Yeah, he decides to keep things simple for himself. And he catches his flush, but it's no good. So a little hitch there for Tragic Trev, twin power, up to 72. King, Queen. Difficult hand to play well.
Do you think it's easier to learn how to play tournament or cash?
Tournament.
Tournament.
Yeah, because you're shorter stacked.
Right. Okay. Less
I mean,
play.
it's easier to learn how to play tournaments to a reasonable sort of standard.
Yeah, well, apparently, as long as you're very, very, very tight, you can last until the final 5. Apparently.
Is that what TV's Nick Wealthall told you?
No, I'm not going to... No, because he's been lovely helping me out. This is what I've gleaned from listening to many of the commentators over the last few months.
Yeah, no, it's true. It's true.
Okay.
It's true. You'll be a bit short-stacked if you're exceptionally tight.
And like you were saying before as well, there's a bit less skill, a bit more luck in certain stages of tournament play?
In certain goes, the luck just grows and grows as you go on because the blinds get so high.
Right. All right, I can understand how it would be more difficult then to negotiate the murky waters of cash games. Ooh, ace-king for Tragic Trev.
In the big blind, he'll be plotting what to do with it. I wonder if Clay will kick proceedings off. I think for Jack 10 he'll certainly come in. The question is, will he limp or will he take the initiative? No, he folds. He folds Jack 10. I'd certainly do that if I thought there was a good chance of a raise behind me, but snap it's not a random loose cannon. However, Rich have a has-bet with King 5, so perhaps Clay knows enough about Rich to know that Jack 10 isn't strong enough to play there. Trev checks it, and he's going to get pushed off this very possibly. Rich is in great shape to represent... Oh, he's declined to represent a big pair.
I wonder what he's thinking there.
I think he may be worried that Trev, having called that bet in the big blind, is holding a big pair himself, but no guarantee of that. Now Trev is not sure if this is a delayed trap waiting to spring. Is Rich sitting there with a big pair? Yeah, he's decided to check and find out. And I think Tragic Trev now suspects he's not up against a big pair, but I think he'll check and possibly call. He may not have to bluff here, but he may correctly induce a bluff if he checks. Let's have a look. I would certainly check call here, depending on the size of the bet. Let's have a look. He has checked. I think he's following my reasoning. I'd love to see a call here. Well, he was losing to a straight, so he made the right decision, but I think possibly with the odds there, another time Rich would be bluffing.
Okay.
So, right decisions all round.
Right decisions all around. Gotta like that. Sometimes the right decision just doesn't win you, though.
And it's not been good for him. Ace, King, King, Queen.
Ace-5 for Eaton Farm Pro against 5-8 from Smug.
Leads out the middle pair. Not exactly huge hands here. I think It could well be folded all the way around to smug.
Right, well, as we're watching and trying to figure out this whole cash game thing, I've got a bit of a question for you.
Okay,
All right, I got an email for you.
All right.
Now, this is from Tony, aka Matza68.
Okay.
He says, "Hi guys, playing online at the moment in a 10-seated sit and go. I was playing for the top 3 positions to get into the money, as we all do. I was short stacked in 4th place and I was dealt 2 aces. My move was to go all in." Sounds quite reasonable so far. "As the flop came, I looked at what the other players had and thought no problem. He had 3-5, only to find on the flop, turn, and river that he picked up a 3-7 straight. Was I right to go all in, or should I have just called or raised a bit and then waited for them to make the moves? Cheers, great show." So what do you think he should have done there?
Yeah, it's a no-brainer. You go all in with the aces there, because there's no point in slow playing a big hand when you don't have chips to play it with. The only reason why you delay betting is because you think you can build a bigger pot in the future by giving your opponents a chance to bet or catch some cards. So you did the right thing. If the blinds are very high, even with aces, you don't mind them both, they're all folding anyway, because as you can see, they can make a hand with any sort of filth. So you did the right thing. If you got less than 4 times what's in the pot, I think even with aces, your best move is to go all in, because there's a very good chance they'll call you before the flop when they're going to miss. But if you let them see the flop cheaply, then they'll fold when they miss. So you miss out on a chance to get their money by giving them a chance to have a look at the flop. So you did the right thing.
Okay, and if you were wondering, because you'd missed part of the What's in the Hole feature from before, you're going to have another chance here to take a look at it. There you go, I'm bringing it back to you.
What's in the hole?
What's in the hole? Let's take a look at today's What's in the Hole.
It's a good one. Is it a bluff? Is it a bluff? What is Frankie Doodle up to?
Frankie Doodle Dandy.
There's the minimum raise. So what does that mean about Pakistan, England's hand? Could mean anything, really. I've never really worked out what a minimum raise is. Could mean 6 or 7 different things.
No hard and fast rules there.
No, but it doesn't present any great problems for me, because it's cheap for me to call.
Ah.
And Frankie Doodle checks his mystery hand, which is consistent with a whole range of hands.
It's difficult to tell what it is so far.
But he calls without any delay there. He calls a pot-sized bet.
Maybe he did have the king or the 9.
Or a half pot-sized bet. Could be king, could be 9, could be nothing. Definitely one of those, Cara.
I think you're right. I think we're both right. I'm going to have to watch tomorrow now to find out which it is. What could it be? What could be in the hole?
And a bet of 12. Half the pot there on the river. And it takes the pot down. What is in the hole?
Interesting. If you want to let us know what you think is in the hole, you need to text the word hole and then your answer to 62211. And we are going to be keeping track of people's answers, doing a bit of a leaderboard, seeing throughout the month, probably monthly, we'll take a look at it each month and see who's doing the best at deciding what's in the hole. And there you go. Now we do have another email here. It's a nice one. It's not really a question, but it's one of the people who was watching the game. This is from Jeff Norris. This would be the tournament that I was doing earlier. He says, Cara and Dr. Tom, first of all, let me tell you how much we enjoyed having you down on the TV tables with some of the regulars. Thank you. You know what? That's really sweet because I enjoyed it so much. He says, also, we all thought you held up your end very well. In other words, you did not let yourself down. And thanks, because basically, that's kind of all I was going for. I knew I wasn't going to win the tournament. I mean, it's possible, in the realm of possibility, but all I wanted to do was kind of acquit myself well. And we look forward very much to the next time you're with us, and that goes for all the Poker Night Live presenters. Also, my regards to the Hooded Claw, Dr. Tom.
Thank you very much, Jeff Norris.
Thank you very much, Jeff Norris. No, I appreciate that, because I really did enjoy that very much, and I know that Tom is just chomping at the bit, can't wait to get himself into one of those TV tournaments as well. I think we were all quite enjoying this as a new feature. This is makes it a bit more interesting. And if you do have any questions or comments about that game, about anything else, or if you want to tell me exactly how to get over my fear now of having my queens cracked, you can have your say. If you want to do it that way, that's absolutely fine. You can call on 0906 200 7080 and get your voice on air on Poker Night Live. That's obviously going to cost you £1 a minute though, so you need to make sure that it's okay with whoever has the bill. And there you go. Or you could just email me. I mean, that's quite good as well. We've got about a half an hour left here tonight, so poker@pokernightlive.co.uk, or you can send me a text, 62211. Now let's get right back to the cash game.
Big Slick for Eden Farm Pro, suited subspecies in the cutoff. How much jargon can I cram into a sentence? Is he going to put in a tickler? No, 4 times the big blind. And that will undoubtedly take it down in any normal poker universe. Fold, fold, folds. And next case. Next case. Pre-flop folds, there they are. Tragic Trevor inching remorselessly up towards your 89. You are his role model.
Oh, I think so. I can see why.
And Snap It, what a maniac Snap It is. Look, he's languishing in second.
Oh.
No longer the rock. He's well behind Tragic Trev. And then we've got Smug down at the other end of the table, who's taking 2/3, or rather 1/3 of the flop, folding 2/3 of the time.
Oh, yeah, Tragic Trev, I think, is trying to reach my levels of...
tightness.
Tight play, yes.
Tight play, yes.
Yes, he actually sent me an email saying that if only he wasn't married, he would. Bless.
How charming. I don't think his wife watches. Big aces for Snap It. What's he going to do? Raise it up. And that's interesting raise. He's massively overbet the pot. I wonder what his logic is there. It's not that scary a board. If it was flushing and big time straightening, interesting. Maybe he thinks he'll get a call, even with so big a bet. He thinks he'll get a call from that player. By all means, if you've got aces, shovel it in if you think you'll get a call.
There's a few aces out on the board now, or in the pockets.
Ace 10s, unsuited, coming in for 4. Yeah, I think it's probably one or the other. Fold or raise it significantly. And that's going to fold it all the way around. I think he might take this down. I don't think Clay can call with King 9 suited. Nope. And Rich, well, we've seen he's happy to put chips in the pot with hands like that. I think it was King 5 suited he played earlier. And Ace 10 takes it down.
A few kings on the... Actually, I think all the kings were out there as well. So they're not going to be getting any pairs of kings.
If I put in a raise like that under the gun with Ace 10 offsuit, I'm pleased to take down the blinds. You know, it's a bit of money I wouldn't have had otherwise. But to be honest, one of the main advantages of it for me is that next time I've got a big hand under the gun, I've raised previously slightly more often than I would have in that position. So I'm more likely to get a call or get action when I'm holding my aces. So that's one good reason to find reasons to put in a bet under the gun with something other than a great hand. Doesn't have to be Ace 10 offsuit, could be 7/8 suited, could be 10 Jack. All these hands, you're just trying to raise the overall frequency with which you play hands under the gun or an early position, so that when you get a big hand, you've got a better chance of getting action and getting paid.
That's a very cunning plan.
Well, thank you, Carol. I think it's only mildly cunning.
Well, it's very sensible, but it is quite cunning, really. There we go. We've got a pair of aces for Eaton Farm Pro, but Rich thinks his Queen Jack is good enough. Oh, now he's got the flush draw. Well, he's got a 1 in 4 chance. Oh, and it didn't come.
It didn't come?
It didn't come. He should have let it go, although I can see why he didn't. And Eaton Farm Pro goes away just that much bit richer. Mr. Snappit has a pair of 5s. That is the leading hand on the board at the moment. And he also has the biggest chip stack.
Yes, he does. He's obviously caught either ground his way up or he's caught a nice hand and taken a big whack out of someone. In fact, it's interesting, isn't it, that Trev and Snappit, who've played fewest hands, have got the most chips. And it won't be the first time we'll see that correlation. Doesn't always hold true. Rich coming in, bottom pair, terrible flush draw. His flush draw is good, his pair currently is not. Well, there's ace-10 again in early position. Is this going to see a 4 times the big blind raise? Nope.
Nope. Is that what you would have done in that situation?
I'd have folded it, Gary, yeah. I'd have folded it.
Yeah?
Yeah, mostly. In fact, nearly always.
Okay.
I mean, I was talking about making plays under the gun, but it depends how long I'm going to be sat at the table with players, for the same players for some time. If people are coming and going, then there's really not much to be said for establishing a table image. If the average player is not going to be there for more than 30 or 40 hands, then it's just wasted advertising like that. It's not a very good hand, so I let it go. If it's a tournament, say, and I'm likely to be at the same table as the other players for some time because we're all chipped up, then that's a different story.
How many hands do you think it takes to develop a table image?
That's a good question.
I'm full of good questions
Yeah,
tonight.
you are. I'm just trying to think of a good answer for you. I would say, well, you start forming one immediately.
But people don't always cotton on to it, do they?
Yeah, I think it's basically the number of times you can see someone in each position, so in the big blind, on the button. So probably 40 hands or so, you're starting to feel reasonably comfortable about what you think your opponent's like.
Right, okay.
Of course, it gets better and better with time, which is the whole point of keeping notes on your opponent, so you accumulate that experience from previous sessions. Yeah, probably 40 hands.
Is that where intuition comes into it a little bit for you, where you start to mix things up a bit? Do you get a feel if you think the other players are getting a read on you?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
I do, and I take preemptive steps to deal with that. So if I haven't played a hand for a while, I'll bet. I must bet there with something. I must try and get myself back towards a credible sort of credible image that isn't very, very tight, if I'm playing tight.
How much do you think intuition actually comes into your personal game? Like, I mean, everyone's got their sort of principles, maybe not rules that they follow, but principles that they follow for how to play their poker and how they like to play it and what they think winning poker looks like in their own game. But then mixing it up a bit with intuition, how much do you think that actually plays a part? Getting an idea or a feel for what someone else might be doing?
Well, it depends how tough the game is. I mean, if the game is easy, you don't need intuition, because knowledge of basic sound poker principles, having the right tools to analyse the situation you're in, so for example understanding things like the river principle, understanding pot odds, all those apply, and if it's a pretty weak game then probably your hand is going to count for a lot. So you end up using intuition, for want of a better word, when you're in danger of being outclassed, when you're up against classy players who know the basic principles and some. And what intuition is, for me, is where you don't quite know what is the right decision here, but you make one and it proves to be right.
So it's retrospectively.
Well, yeah, okay. We say you shouldn't be results-oriented, but if you're more often than not proving to be right in situations where you can't actually verbally justify why you did what you did, you just said, well, could be this, could be that, could be a raise, could be a fold, heck it, I'll raise, then that is your intuition. Now you can be sure that you're using information there, but you're just not using it in a way that you could verbally explicate, and that's why it's difficult to teach that, because we can't explicate it either. We just know when we're on form and when we're not.
Okay. Sometimes I suppose it could be something as small as how long it takes someone to fold or raise. Or,
There might be some aspects to that, yeah.
Yeah, because there's not a lot that you get online, but there are some cues to behaviour, aren't there?
Yeah, also just assembling knowledge of what you've seen them do, or just getting a feel about what your own behaviour looks like. Obviously you should be thinking about that, but just getting a really fine sense of, for want of a better word, rhythm. There comes a point, especially in tournaments, especially in final tables, when people are folding a lot, not many flops are seen, not many pots are taken to a showdown because everyone's playing very cagey. You get a tremendous sense of rhythm, and you start to feel, right, this is a time where I can make a move. This will be respected. And then you get a feeling that, hang on, this is just a point where someone might call me.
Okay.
It's difficult to explain, but when you're in the zone, you know what it feels like.
Right. Okay, I will look forward to that one day.
Getting good rhythm.
Yes.
Snap it out of those fives last time we looked down.
Oh, goodness. Caught in a bit of a time warp. 3-4s for Eden Farm Pro. Very nice.
Very nice. He's praying Trev has got a piece of that flop.
I don't know. I don't think he's going to go for that at all. I wouldn't. 3-7?
No.
No connection?
He's doing the maximum theatrical dwell up just to pretend that he wasn't trying it on with a load of rubbish with that better two. But he's laid bare here on Poker Night Live.
Yep, we can see exactly what you're doing there, Tragic Trev. Pair of 8s for Ram Chip.
Yeah, he's limped in and been raised from Snap It. I think a fold is perfectly acceptable here. Perfectly acceptable. Two reasons. One is that Snap It's got a good chance of having a significantly better hand, i.e. a higher pair. But secondly, well, that changes things because now Ram Chip's getting better odds. Secondly, so does that, catch you an 8. Snap It isn't someone to pay off players willy-nilly, so Ram Chip, when he catches his 8, which is going to be rare, 7.5 to 1 against on the flop, is less likely to get paid than against other players. So, although he's fortunate to catch the 8, he could have more aggressive players in the pot than Snap It if he had a choice. And there it is, he gets no extra money out of them. And a bit disappointed, I think he'll be there.
Disappointing. Pair of jacks for ashtrays. I wonder if he's sitting there with his ashtray as he's playing.
Puffing away.
Yeah,
Forced
bad
out
habit.
of the card room from all those non-smoking card rooms now.
Yeah, well, I think good idea.
Yeah.
I know it's contentious.
Fine by me.
Contentious. Fine by me as well. Better for everyone's health all round, really. You know, we've had a bit of an email through from our very own James Browning.
Really?
Isn't that nice? He's actually watching the show.
Can't he take a night off?
Aww, I think he just wanted to see how, you know, he's been teaching me how to play poker as well, and I think he wanted to see how I was doing, which I think is lovely.
That is lovely. What does he say about you?
He says, James, the 3 R's Browning.
What do the 3 R's stand for?
Risk-reward ratio. See, I know this. He just drilled this into my head the very first night that we worked together. So I've never forgotten risk-reward ratio. He says, hi, Karen Tom. I thought you played well, especially considering the pressure of playing live for the first time and handling the chat box. Thanks very much, James. And I appreciate the support as well. I know I probably chatted way too much. Were you actually watching in the chat box? Because that's quite cool. I feel that you made one error, which really, only one? Thank you, I think you're being generous. One error which had a bad knock-on effect, and that was with the hand with ace-jack. You made a flat raise, 40 with 40, and you were re-raised, and I believe that as it was only the second level, you should have passed. You could easily have been dominated by ace-queen or ace-king, which could have been costly. Just calling, you were out of position and didn't know where you were. That is very true. I did kind of panic there. Ace-jack. Not a great hand, really, is it, to be calling with in the early stages of a tournament. He says, I feel that those chips you saved would have kept you feeling calmer, but well done again, good show, and all the best to the pair of you. Thank you very much, James. That's really, really lovely.
Thank you, James. Yeah, I'm inclined to agree with him. But I don't think you were that rattled. You look like you were still steely and calm to me.
Steely and calm as a cucumber, that's me.
What can you do? You had queens, Karen. I mean,
I enjoyed it, though. Ah, well.
And well done in the chat box as well. I thought you chatted very well in the chat box.
Just like crazy. My little Enzo just flying over the keyboard. Oh, there we go. Well, I suppose we should take a look back at our game, shouldn't we?
I suppose we should.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Hey, what have we missed?
Ace King versus Ace King. Suited here, comes to the fore. They say it adds 5% to your edge. It's true in situations like this. There's not much to choose between the hands on their merit. But that board splits it up for them.
Right, well, if anyone wants to get their last minute thoughts on any of the games from tonight's show on air, you've only got about 10 minutes, so you need to make sure you get on that email, poker@pokernightlive.co.uk, or text us at 62211. Let me know what you thought of the tournament, of the play, the cash games we're watching now, any questions you might have for our expert, the venerable Dr. Tom. Do have them coming.
Don't think Snapper's going to get paid there. Nope. Takes it down. Tragic Trev gets 5s twice in a row. Raise or call. Don't think he'll fold this. Just a limp. And I don't think he's going to get raised off it, but here's a danger he'll only find himself with Snap it in the pot. Ramchip might come in. Ramchip might even raise A7. Let's see if he puts in a punishing raise here. Yes, he does.
Aha. You think that's going to scare Tragic Trev off? It must do, really. Pair 5s against 7 players.
He may be a bit sceptical about the value of Ramchip's hand, but on the other hand, much depends on what Ramchip will do on the flop. If Ramchip is going to bet the flop whatever, then Trev has got to make his hand on the flop. Not having a chance to see the turn slightly reduces his outs, or his probability of making a hand that he can continue with.
Yeah.
Remember, if you've got a pocket pair by the river, you're about 1 in 5 to make your hand, but on the flop, you're 1 in 8.5.
I think those 5s have just moved straight across the table.
Yeah, they're just going back and forth like a flying shuttle. Snap it. Well, he's first to act. Yeah, he's decided to check it down to the river. He's worried about a 9 sitting there, and I'm pretty sure he'll let this go. Correctly, he's up against a queen. It doesn't really matter if it's a queen or a 9. However, Clay takes a view. Clay takes a view.
Wow.
And catches an ace. Catches a miracle ace to give him aces and 9s. Over Rich's queens and 9s. Very lucky.
Very lucky. It's always important to remember that it is the best 5-card hand that wins at Texas Hold'em. So sometimes that might even be the 5 cards on the board.
Yep.
And yeah, so it's always important to realize what your opponents might be drawing to or might have actually gotten with the flop, with the turn in the river. It's not just what you have in your own hand.
Wisely spoken.
Thanks very much. I do try. Stating the obvious is a bit of a, I don't know, a bit of a skill, really.
Nothing wrong with, well, stating the obvious is, you see, Casper's always on my case about this. He's saying, basically, I constantly overestimate. This is going to sound terrible. Don't take this the wrong way, folks, regular viewers, but I constantly overestimate people's poker knowledge.
Okay.
Because, you know how it is, you forget that people are coming into the game regularly, absolutely not knowing what...
True.
Because we say it so often on Poker Night Live, we assume now that the whole world knows. But of course, people are coming in all the time to this show, absolutely fresh, naive, as we all were once with poker.
Absolutely.
And they need to have the obvious stated to them, so nothing wrong with that.
I think that's why us beginner girls especially, are on the show just to help kind of keep it grounded for the beginner nights or amateur nights, and sometimes, yeah, to do the stating of the obvious. Nothing wrong with that, I suppose.
Whoa, Rich, what a player. He puts in a little steal there. And Eaton Farm has come in, and Rich will be, I think, pretty ready to let this go now, especially with the Small blind coming in with ace-3 there, Kara. I'm not even interested if I catch an ace. I've given up on this pot. I tried my nick. I got called in 2 places. I need to make 2 pairs to carry on. Nice flop for Eaton. And I think that's such an unwise bet. I really do. And he's got his answer anyway, so he's found out perhaps relatively cheaply. But I just can't carry on with the ace-3 now, not with 2 callers.
No. I mean, he's found out relatively cheaply, but he may have been able to intuit that before actually putting in the other bet. So.
Yeah, I check fold. I certainly don't call.
Oh.
Unless he has a brainstorm and decides to try and represent the 9, which wouldn't be a wise move given that Eaton's got it.
No, not at all. He's thinking about it, he's thinking about it.
I think he may just be doing a dwell up to save his dignity there and pretend he's made a great fold of King-Queen or something.
It doesn't work so well, really, when you're playing on the TV table, because everyone can see what you've got.
Maybe he's multi-tabling. Maybe he's playing a blind with ace-3 on the $25, $50 game.
It could be, you never know. Do you ever play the smaller stakes games? Just for a bit of fun, a bit of extra while you're doing something else?
No, I keep meaning to, but I never quite get around to it.
Yeah.
But I will. Busy. I will. It's on the agenda. We're going to get a bit of action here. I think Jack-Queen might consider a call here. $1.50. He's getting 3-1, and great implied odds against Ram Chip if he comes in. Lets it go, probably wise, but lots of players would call there. Don't like the ace-10 quite so much. Ooh, that's a strange raise because Smug has raised from the small blind, and that tends to look strong because if you raise from the small blind, obviously normally raising means strength, but also if you're in the small blind, you can get in cheaply with a call. So you've chosen, rather than having a look at the flop cheaply, you've decided to raise. And now Ram's in trouble.
He really is in trouble. He thinks he's got a great hand here with a pair of aces. Not a match against 3 queens.
However, any action from by Smug here is going to... I think Ram can work out he's behind. He probably won't put Smug on a pair of queens, but he's going to put him on ace-king, ace-queen, ace-jack. Maybe a call, but even if he calls there, I think Ram Chip can only check this now down to the river.
Yeah. Don't throw any more chips into this.
Smug facing 2 flush draws. I think we'll be inclined to bet this, 15 or 20. Oh, he's only got 7, so that's what it will be then, I guess. Sorry, I wasn't meaning to take the mickey out of you there, Smug. Takes it down.
Pair of 4s for Snap It. Not much else out there, but Smug might have a go with being on the button, and he does. Everyone's kind of just limping in to see what everyone else is going to do.
9-9-10 again.
Lovely flop for Tragic Trev.
Now he has got to worry about someone trapping with a 9 with 4 players out there. That is a worry. Does he bet to find out where he is, or does he assume the worst for the time being and see what they do on the turn? He bets to find out where he is, and that will take it. Snap It can't fight back, especially when Trev has been playing pretty tight so far tonight. He's played a few pots, Smug. Ace-8 good. Probably time to let up on the gas. I think the minimum raise is probably not the best option. 350 in the pot. 5-9, however, is just a bit too filthy to call with. So Smug takes it down with the minimum raise. King 10. You get the feeling Trev would like to do a bit of nicking, but King 10 not strong enough. Likewise, Deuce 3 and Ace 5. Snap it in the big blind, ram chip, maybe 4. We'll let it go. Don't call. 4 it is. Well, that should take it. And the deck has gone a bit cold for us here on Poker Night Live.
It has done. There we go, a couple of aces with not the greatest kickers in the world to be playing with, but we're going to say goodbye to this game. This is our final hand on the cash game here tonight on Poker Night Live, Amateur Night. We've got a couple of emails that I want to run through very quickly because people are kind enough to email in. This one's from Steve, aka Balrog. It says, "Morning, Tom and Kara. Well played and unlucky with the timing of the Queen, Queen, Ace, Ace thing, Kara. Pleasure playing with you. We enjoyed it. I did as well. Thank you. A general point, though, if I may, before playing, it might be an idea if you hadn't announced which table you were going to go to. The TV tables can fill in the blink of an eye, and with 40 or 50 more waiting to play you, the chances of getting a seat are not so good." It says the competition between the regular players to sit on the beat the presenter table is nothing short of comic chaos, and it has been over the last couple of nights. And he says, thanks for the game and good luck next time. Thank you very much, Steve. I appreciate that. I had a great time. Another one here from Lee. Says, hi, Kara and Dr. Tom. Well done in your tournament. Better luck next time. Love your show. Watch every night. Thanks to it, I'm now a winning player. Thanks. Keep up the good work. And a couple of kisses, which apparently are just for me. Thanks very much.
I'm glad to hear it.
Now, I think you might be the player tomorrow night. Either
so.
you or Nick. So do stay tuned because you're going to have one of the experts playing on the TV tables, and this is going to be quite exciting. I'm going to have to watch this.
Okay, send in your emails.
I will do, and I think all of you should as well. Watch what's going to be happening. Call in if you want to. Send in the text because it's going to be all exciting.
And don't forget there'll be another What's in the Hole, of course.
That's true. This one is going to finish at midnight tomorrow night, and there will be another. So make sure you stay tuned, and thank you very much for joining us tonight here on Poker Night Live.